Yes, guys, hello, welcome to Little Black Book. My God, it's been a madness, bruv, today. But we are here giving you guys finally some UK content because it's been mad in the dunya. And we're talking to you guys about Love Island. Yes, Love Island 2021. Listen, I've titled this particular episode, okay, that black men seem to be letting us down once again. I want to have a real conversation about Love Island, the whole episode, but I'm going to start with that topic when we go forward. Listen, if you're new to this channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification. What up? Loads. And for those of you who are returnees, and you already know what it is, baby, you got the minerals. Yes, sir. You get me? Listen, they asked, you want to know where Pastor Quadro is? Listen, he's not here this week. He's on sabbatical. He's going to be here next week, okay? When the couples finally start surrendering and getting into molding, we'll bring Pastor Quadro on. Okay, we're still here with the LBB, you understand? So next week, guys, look out. Pastor Quadro will be on here and giving you guys the conversation. You know how he is, you know what I'm saying? You already know how he is. You know how Pastor Quadro is. You understand? You know how Pastor Quadro is. Sometimes he just comes in and he says, "Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Casa treme for fair. You know the things, but let me not bring him. He's next week. We're gonna bring him on next week. You understand? All right, listen. As always, this is a live, okay? On our lives, we like to bring you guys on, okay? We want to have you guys come on and give your say. Listen, it's nice that you guys can comment in the comment section. It's nice that you guys can comment in that lovely comment section and have some banter, but we like to have you guys on board, okay? So if you're about it and you have that energy to do so, we want you to come on and have your say. Okay, I'm going to put an email address here for you guys so you guys can come on and talk to us tonight. So let me put this on the board for you. If you want to have your say, boo. Yeah, listen, it's going to get interesting. It's going to get interesting. You understand? Yeah? With B91talks at gmail.com. Okay? Yeah, if you want to have your say, listen, that's it there. I'm going to put it underneath the bottom. Let's scroll. Let's see, if you want to have your say, jump aboard, hit us up. Okay, cool, let's go. All right, listen, let's talk some real things. Someone says get them in aroused. Let's talk some real things, okay? We had our kind of, the beginning of the show. We got to see Brad. Well, it wasn't first. It was Jake first. Jake and Liberty get together while she stepped forward for him. We also had then Brad and Faye. We also had what's his name? Aaron and Shannon. We had. Who was the other one? Kaz and Toby, okay, and Hugo and Sharon, okay. I know if you guys don't know the couples, I don't have pictures. Let me see if I can get some for you guys. It's kind of tough because this thing doesn't allow you to show the pictures, doesn't allow you to add the photos. But let me see if I can do it for you guys and add some photos so you guys can see it. Okay. Oh, this ain't it. Oh, that ain't it. That ain't it. Okay, here we go. Beautiful stuff. Okay, I'm gonna add some photos so you guys can see what we're talking about, so it makes it a little bit easier for us to have that conversation today. Okay, but like I said, I want to get you guys on here. So listen, if you've watched the show, please send me an email. Let's get the conversation kicking tonight. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the conversation kicking tonight. Okay, all right, I've got the photos coming in as well for you guys, but let me know in the comment section. First question I'll ask you guys: what was your thoughts on Aaron not choosing what is that? What was your thoughts on Aaron not choosing Kaz? Let's keep 100, right? What was your thoughts on Aaron not choosing Kaz and then ended up choosing, all right, someone who didn't step forward for him? Let me. I want to know what your thoughts are. Yeah, what's your thoughts on that? What was your thoughts? Comment section, hit it down below. Let me put it up as a question so you guys, audience, what's your thoughts? What is your thoughts on Aaron not choosing Kaz. Okay, in the comment section, you want to know what your thoughts are, guys. What is your thoughts on Aaron not choosing Kaz? That's what we're going to start from. What's your thoughts? Christabel, your boy, if you know you're here, come on the show. I don't want to see you in the comment section. Come upon the show. You know the email. Click on it so we can get the talkings. Okay, all right. What is your thoughts on Aaron not choosing Kaz? Okay, why did you know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep on. We're gonna have a real conversation. Okay, I think I've got all my pictures now, so I can make it easy for you guys to kind of see who we're talking about. All right, cool. So if you don't know, this is Aaron and Shannon. Okay, so Aaron's on the left hand side, guys. I don't know if I can make it smaller. So no, I can't. Okay, Aaron's on the left hand side, guys. Okay, all right. And Aaron decided to choose Shannon. Okay, he said the first thing when he came in, that's the first person that caught his particular eye. Okay, first person that caught his eye was Shannon. Okay, Shannon, I think her name is Shannon Singh, so she got a bit of a Indian background as well, right? Okay, cool. So here's my thing about Aaron, right? So listen, every year we have this problem. Okay, every single year we have this problem. Okay, all right. And my problem here, okay, is not necessarily that he didn't choose a black woman. It's not necessarily him. My beef is not actually necessarily with Aaron. Okay, it's not necessarily with Aaron himself. It's with the show. Okay, because they seem to pick black men who don't know how to see black women, and that's my problem. Right? Because what it does is it starts putting seeds in people's minds that black women are the last of the bunch. And guess what? With white folk, they are. And I don't care. That's them. I don't care what they think. If they don't like us, that's the business. If they don't like black women, that's the business. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a hoots and I don't give a heck if they don't like black women, right? But stop putting black men on the show who like airy fairy, blonde eyes, blonde ears, blonde lips, blonde whatever it is. I can't even say anything more blonde. I don't want to see any more of these black men. Where are you finding them? And why is it always one token black guy that they do this with and then have one black woman? I just rather not see us at all on that show. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. The worst part of this was the people that listen. I wouldn't have minded. Yeah. You know what? It's frustrating, right? Because obviously, you know, Kaz stepped forward, and also Faye stepped forward as well, right? And Faye, we'll talk about Faye in a second. All right? You know, we'll talk about Faye in a second. You know what I'm saying? Wait, who said I tried to play you? Wait, I don't get it. Cold-blooded, what do you mean? Cold-blooded, if you don't know me, I'm a black woman supporter. Listen, I love white folk, but I love them with the love of Jesus. But let me tell you something now. They are not going to make me feel undervalued when they put on shows like this. I don't play those games, okay? Now, here's the thing, all right? I don't mind him having a preference. I've got no beef with the preference. Like I said, it's just the fact the show consistently puts these black men that protect. I don't know if they're putting it on their application that they're open when they're not open. Just, you know, keep it 100% real. If you're not open, you're not open. It's cool. I've got no beef with it. But let's stop doing this, bro. Let's stop doing this. This is not fun anymore. Yeah, and every year we have the same thing here. Right? With the same thing here, right? And not only that, blood. Listen, the maddest thing is, Aaron even chose somebody, and forget race for a second. Let me forget race for a second. These black men, sometimes the head, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's going on in their head, yeah? The same thing happened last year. Was it last year or last 2 years? It might have been 2 years now. That guy that chose one of the girls, and the girl didn't even step forward for you. Brother, are you alright? They didn't even step. Look, even the one that he chose, the girl didn't step forward for you. Okay? She didn't even step forward for you. You know? She didn't even step forward for you. A girl didn't even. You had two. That's the mindset. He had two. And still, he didn't choose any two that stepped forward for him. He went for the girl that didn't even want him, man. You know? Went for the girl that didn't even want him. And I was just like, I was like, are you all right? Or you all right, Aaron? Are you all right or are you all right? Okay, all right. And so I was a little bit disappointed with Aaron. Okay, I was hurt because he didn't choose. I was hurt that he didn't choose Kaz. He doesn't have to choose Kaz. Listen, it's not like every man. But you know what? I was just hoping that they brought a black person on the show, that a black man that will want a black woman. Listen, and Kaz is fine. Okay, Kaz is all types of fine. Kaz is all types of chocolate and melanin. Okay, the thighs are saving lives. The smile is killing me. Yeah. Why did you say that about black women? What is Cold Blooded talking about? I have no clue what she's talking about. Cold Blooded, what are you talking about? You might have to make it clear. I'm mad confused by what you are saying here. What do you mean? You might have to clarify your point. I'm mad confused. I have no clue what you're talking about. I have no clue what you're talking about. Anyway, let's continue the show. Sometimes people hear things that they want to hear. I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, okay. So, it's honestly, it's so painful to see, yeah. And I know it's the seventh year. I know it's the seventh year, and we can't complain, right? Because every time, it's always happening, right? But I think if we don't complain, it ain't gonna happen. Listen. This is no beef. I want to make it very, very clear. Y'all want to be able, the show, like people, not show, the people want to do LGBTQ before we get equality with black people, and I'm confused by that. Like, who's been here longer? Cause we've been here getting just be getting disrespected, and before we get LGBTQ and their equality, can we sort ours out first? I'm just saying. Like, can we sort ours out first, right? Can we get some equality in that area first? I'm just saying, because it pushes us to that marginalized side. And I know people are gonna say, well, it's a white people show, right? But you're in Britain, and you're in Britain. Okay, this is not even the only way is Essex. That's a different show. This is not what do you call it, the Made in Chelsea. We're not expecting black people to be in that show. We're not expecting them to be in that show at all. This is Love Island, which is meant to represent the island of UK. Okay, so we're looking for black people in the show, and if you're gonna put black people in, put somebody that likes black folk. That's all I'm asking. Either that, don't put any black people in it. I'd rather be complaining every year there's no black people in it, and then we don't get any embarrassment, right? Because this is now becoming problematic, okay? So I don't want to hear, I appreciate LGBTQ have their own problems, but you're not about to jump the queue. There's a queue! Okay, there's a queue, and you need to wait. We need to sort ourselves out first. Y'all gonna have to let us get our things sorted. You understand? Okay, we need to get our things sorted first before y'all jump the queue. Okay, all right, cool. It's mad. Yeah, and Laura's right. Yeah, they will still be doing us dirty, even LGBTQ with black people. There's even racism there. You know what I'm saying? So that's my little rant. Okay, that's my little rant done and done. Okay, I've ranted now. I feel a little bit better. Let's leave that alone. Okay, let's leave that alone. Okay, all right, let's leave that alone, and let's get in some real stuff and conversation now about the couples that are actually in here. Okay, let's get into some real conversation. Now, I showed you guys obviously Aaron and Shannon. Okay, let's talk about them. Okay. Stay hydrated. I went to my notes, okay, because I put some notes down about what I was seeing, okay, on the actual show. And it's really interesting because obviously when he chose her, Shannon is not interested at all, okay? Shannon said she's not interested at all. She doesn't want to hear his voice. She thinks he's a pretty boy. She thinks he's a model type-esque kind of person, and so she's not really interested in this particular relationship. She mentioned the fact that also as well that Aaron doesn't give her banter. Aaron doesn't give banter as well, so she's not really involved in that. She doesn't find him attracted. Okay, now I don't care if she doesn't like black boys or not. It doesn't make a difference to me. At the end of the day, she made it very, very clear she doesn't get the banter that she needs from him. She mentioned Jake and Brad being those kind of guys who are a bit more jokey, and I kind of see what she meant, because I didn't see that from Aaron. Aaron saw her as a beautiful girl and he was attracted to it. I hear that, but what she was seeing is beyond just the good looks. And I think this is what's going to be. I think it's going to be a really good season this season, just because I noticed that people are talking about going beyond the looks a little bit more on this particular show, right? So I think they're going to have some depth this season. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. You're gonna have some depth, right? Now I know that Aaron works in VIP. I know that he's involved in celebrity lifestyle, and he's involved in all that kind of stuff, right? And so I can see, but yes, Lala's put it correctly. Unfortunately, we don't see much personality from Aaron. We don't see much personality from Aaron. Okay, and there is also as well a psychological aspect here, because he chose someone who didn't step forward. Okay, now I need to deep it. Like, he wasn't the first; he was like the third guy in. Yeah, so you can see someone's already coupled up, and you see two women step for you. Now, okay, you don't choose Kaz. Okay, fine, fair enough. Kaz stepped forward and Faye stepped forward. Faye steps forward, and you then choose Shannon. Your confidence is high, bro. Your confidence is high, bro. Your confidence is high, bro. Okay? Your confidence is high, bro. All right? And I was just looking at him and I was like, bro, you chose someone who didn't even want you. Did you not? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand where you were going. And there's no beef. Again, it just made me think, what are you thinking in your mind? Now, he said it obviously, like, if you don't start with attraction, how can you fall in love? And I'm like, I hear that. And we talk about this on the channel all the time, how men need to find a girl attractive. So what? None of the girls you found attractive? It's basically what you're saying, bro, that you found none of the girls attractive. Is that what you're saying? Right? Because that's what it sounded like when you said, you have to find a girl attractive. Are you saying that other girls you didn't find them attractive? Like, so you didn't find Faye attractive? Listen, even me as a black man, who loves black women, I can at least appreciate, understand that Faye, in fact, all the girls look pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But bro, you stepped for somebody who wasn't stepping for you. And do you know the worst thing is? The worst thing is this: her facial expressions tell you everything she feels about this boy. Okay, she was over it the moment he stepped to her. Okay, the moment he chose her, there was sadness in her eyes. Okay, there was a sadness in her eyes. The light left her eyes. The hope left her. Okay, that woman, oh my God, she felt it. Okay, she felt it. She as soon as she saw him coming, she said, "Wow, please don't come over." Right? Did she give you eye contact? That's the question I'm asking. Did she give you eye contact? That's the question I'm really asking. Because everyone's talking about eye contact. What eye contact did she give you, Aaron? I want to know. Or did you just look over? Let me sip some water and stay hydrated. You understand? Let me stay hydrated. You know what I'm saying? The light in her eyes went, bro. No, the light in her eyes, it disappeared, cuz. It disappeared, bro. Oh, yes, Life of Bodge. Yes, my guy. Get on here, brother. You know I appreciate Life of Bodge. Listen, the light in her eyes actually dissipated. The poor girl said, "No, she's not about it." You know what I'm saying? Right? And this is the thing. So she said, and I kind of clocked it because she's obviously into gaming. She's into that kind of world of things, right? Where, in those kind of worlds where you're into gaming and everything like that, that's all about, they have a level of humor that's there. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, because he didn't know that, he chose this girl on looks, and now, brother, you are stuck, bruv. You know what I'm saying? You're stuck, bruv. Okay? Right? You're stuck there now, bro. Yeah? And I know she was begging for someone to steal it off him, but no one came. Okay? And it's actually interesting, though, because actually, I don't know if someone else would have chosen Shannon had they not seen him there. I don't know. Right? But no one chose Sharon either, to be fair. You know what I mean? So maybe Sharon will be somebody who will blossom later on. Later on. Maybe as her personality is able to come out, people will find Sharon more attractive. You know what I'm saying? All of them are attractive women. All of them are attractive women, but it's kind of peak right now. Okay. Yeah, he saw Sharon, and yeah, it is what it is. It gets peak like that. You know what I'm saying? He thought he was living and living large blood. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's go to the next couple. Let's see. Okay, we got Jake and Liberty. Jake and Liberty. Oh my days. This couple right here. Listen, Jake and Liberty. Jake and Liberty. Jake and Liberty, man, they are interesting. Jake and Liberty are interesting. They're interesting. And I'll tell you why they're interesting. Jake and Liberty, the reason why Jake and Liberty are really interesting watching them on the show is because I don't think, so I like Liberty and Jake. Their banter is A1, right? When they were talking about, what they liked on each other and liking their personality, liking looks and everything like that, A1, right? It was smooth. It was lovely. You know what I'm saying? Like, fancy a chat, come round to the fireplace, let me talk to you, love. All right. Yeah. Lovely. But my only issue I noticed straight away is that Liberty talks way too much. Jake talks a lot. No, Jake does take a lot. But Liberty talks to a point where she cuts you off. And I knew it as soon as when, and Liberty's funny. I like Liberty. She's funny though. She went and had a conversation with went to have a conversation with Kaz. Okay, she went to have a conversation with Kaz, and they plotted to get old boy to come over and talk to her, right? So they went over there, they had a conversation, fancy a chat by the fireplace and all that, you know what I mean? Right? Babe, to be honest, I just want to be able to talk to him, and I want him to lead me, all right? Like, I don't want to chase nobody. That's what she said. All right, cool. So now she didn't want to chase nobody. They go over and they're going to have a conversation by the beanbag and everything like that, blah, 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 but they end up going to the fireplace. Now, when they get to the fireplace and they're having a conversation, yeah, it's so mad, because as soon as they started talking, here's the thing, talking loads is different from cutting people off. There are people who talk at length, and there are people who talk and cut you off. Right? So when she was talking, when she was talking, it was fine. The moment he tried to add, how he felt or what he was thinking or what he did, she would then cut him off. Not in a rude way. She just takes over the conversation. I said, man, I said, sis, we're gonna need to just dial it down a little bit. Okay, it's just a little bit too much. Okay, it's too early, too soon for you to be cutting my man off already. Okay, I know. Obviously, I know obviously that that she might have been nervous. She might have felt a certain type of way. Listen, I hear that, but sis, I'm gonna need you to calm down. Okay, because when he's talking, you're not listening. You're cutting him off. All right. And it's great that you're a good talker, and it's great you're trying to banter and vibes. Okay, I love the fact that you're trying to vibes, but you need to let the boy finish. Okay, all right, let him finish. He tried to talk 3 or 4 times, and she jumps in. I'm like, sis, calm down. I know you like the boy. Yeah, I know you like the boy. All right, but calm down. Right? Yes, exactly, Segal. Right, it does come off as that. I think I think for her, it more comes off even looking like it almost comes off more like that. She doesn't know when to stop talking. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she's always trying to fill in the gap and the void, and that comes off as anxiousness, nervousness, and that doesn't come off as confidence. Right? So I just felt like, just a little bit. Dial it down just a little bit. Just dial it down a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. You know, she's not a bad lass. Okay, she's not a bad lass at all. I think they got great vibes. You know, I think, you know, there's a nice energy between the two of them. I just don't know how long it's gonna go for. Right? I think he's gonna have his eyes elsewhere. If I'm honest with you, he's gonna. Now, it was Jake obviously mentioned as well that he felt like he didn't get that. He didn't get that oomph from her. Do you know what I'm saying? He didn't get. Oh, Life of Bodge is here. Let me get Life of Bodge on as well. We'll get a conversation flowing as well, and he can add to what we were seeing there. Life of Bodge, my guy, Goonish. What are you telling me, guys?
You hear me?
I can hear
You
you,
hear me
bro.
clear? Nice one.
Talk a
How you
little
doing,
bit louder
coaches,
into
right?
the mic, my sir.
How you doing, coaches, right?
I'm good, bro. You might have to come a little bit closer to the mic, sir.
Okay. Any better?
A little bit more, bro.
Any better? You hear me?
Are you on the mic?
Yeah, I'm using some headphones, so it may,
You may need to talk
maybe
into the
that's what it is.
headphones.
Alright, okay, hold on.
Has that headphone got a mic?
Yeah, but let me try again. I'll get a different one. Hold on a second.
Just so we can hear you clearly, you know, we want to make sure we hear you clearly. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, just in case you guys don't know who we're talking about Jake and Liberty right now. Jake and Liberty. Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section. If you want to be involved in the conversation, do hit us up on email, lbb91talks@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section and get involved with this convo. Life of Bosch is going to get some headphones. We'll continue the conversation. Like I said, guys, I really want to know your thoughts when you watch the episode. Don't be quiet now. The chat is, you know, you guys going quiet. What is your thoughts? You know, Jake and Liberty. Faye said, Jake and Liberty are a headache waiting to happen. I hear you. I hear that, cuz. I hear that. Who else has talked about? Someone said Jake is sexy as F. I know what that means. Don't care for white men romantically, but he is appealing. I hear that. He's got a good energy, you know, good body as well. He's quite nice as well. You know, let's see what our comments are. Let's see. Any more comments about the show right now? I think Liberty was nervous and scared of having an awkward silence. Yeah, I would go with that. And she overcompensated a little bit, you know, trying to talk in between those moments as well. You know, so yeah, I think it's something that she's gonna have to just, hopefully she'll get over it as days go on, and she'll be able to be calm in it. But Lala said Jake is gonna jump ship as soon as a bit of him turns up. I hear you, because he's not that invested right now. He's just settling right now. Someone said I need in UK we'll record these. Don't worry, they'll record these. Okay, Laughbud, you think you're ready? Yeah, bro. Go for it, bro. Charlie, we can't hear you right now, Laughbud. Faye said, I think Jake will go for the new girl. He may do, because he's not getting that instant. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not getting that instant. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not getting that. You feel me? So I honestly, I think watching Jake and Liberty, I think the new girl probably will take Jake, or Jake will at least go with her. And it's interesting as well, because not only that, but Liberty, we forgot that Liberty stepped forward, you know, for another man. Are we forgetting? Liberty stepped forward for another man. No, I'm not going to forget that. No. Liberty stepped for another man. Nah, we're not going to forget Liberty tried it. Liberty tried to take liberties. Nah, Liberty tried to take liberties. Did she not step forward for another man? Yeah, she stepped forward for another man. I remember. Yeah. You know, I remember. I can't remember who she stepped forward for. I think it was for. Who was it for? Was it for Brad? It might have been for Brad. You know, she stepped forward for, but she definitely stepped forward for someone. I was like, and I said, oh, hey, yo. I said, you know, men and egos as well. You know, I said as soon as Liberty stepped forward, I said, hey, yo, man might not forget that, you know. He probably ain't gonna forget. Men have very fragile egos, man. Me included. That's gonna break. That can make us not even broken. That can make us into a dog. You know what I'm saying? But again, it depends if your type comes in. You might just have to settle, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's a mazzoline right now. You feel me? Life of Budge, what's going on? We can't hear you, bro. Listen, you know what? Just come back with your normal thing, man. We'll have to struggle it a little bit. Don't worry, you come back, bro. We'll just listen to you and hear you in a lower tone, bro. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was JK Liberty. Let's see. We got Hugo and Sharon. Chai, Sally, what's going on with your sound? Yeah, we got Hugo and Sharon. Okay, we got Hugo on the right, got Sharon on the left. Hey, Charlie, your noise is doing that. You know what? Maybe you have to go back to your originals, bro. Go back to the normals. Yeah, Hugo and Sharon. This couple, I think they're interesting. Okay, look, yeah. Here's what I think. Someone said, "Life of Bodge, invest." I think what's interesting here is, yeah. Hugo is the definition of the nice guy, okay? The nice guy or the good guy, whichever right now we're deciding that. And he's too nice at the moment for the ladies in the villa. At the moment. He's too nice for the ladies in the villa. It reminds me a little bit of the Doctor from a few episodes back as well, right? He's too nice right now. In fact, even one girl even said, the moment she saw him, she said he's too nice. That's how much niceness he carries. Okay, so he had so much niceness that as soon as they stepped on the platform, everybody was like, he's too nice. But here's my thing though, with Hugo and Sharon, I think Sharon at first was saying that she's not really interested in someone like Hugo. But is it not interesting? Here's the interesting thing: when Hugo was partnered up with Faye, okay, Faye at first was like, not really sure about that. Oh, let me see if Hugo, Life of Bodge, you good? Bro, can we hear you, bro? Free my man, Life of Bodge. You good? Hey, Charlie. Your noise is doing woody fee right now, brother. You know what? Just go back to what you had originally, bro. Because this one, yeah, is must. All right, cool. With Sharon and Hugo, right? It was interesting because when Hugo first got to Faye. When Hugo got to Faye first, Faye was like, she's not really on it. He's a bit too nice for me, right? She likes mean guys, and we're going to address that comment as well. She likes mean guys, right? And then what happened was, as soon, and then she said, oh, I actually got comfortable with Hugo, right? And she said, oh, I actually got comfortable with Hugo, Faye did, right? When the black boy, Aaron, when Aaron decided to reject her, suddenly she was cool. She actually didn't mind. She didn't even mind now Hugo, right? And the same thing kind of happened with Sharon. Like at first, Sharon, okay, was like, no, I'm not really feeling Hugo. He's too nice. I need a bit more from him. And I don't see us kind of mixing. But then as they started talking and conversating, I can kind of see it a little bit that Hugo may win Sharon over, and that Sharon may potentially lean towards him, right? It's interesting. Yeah, Hugo did not want to be with Kaz either, man. None of these guys want to be with black women, man. Let's be honest, man. Let's be 100% honest. But yeah, Hugo, by all means, did not want Hugo, wasn't wanted by Sharon at the beginning, but I started seeing her kind of moving a little bit, yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's true. Listen, Lala, honestly, it's so true. My girl was like, listen, I'm a civil servant. And he was like, okay, yeah, what does that mean? Like, what you on? And she was like, yeah, I write policies and stuff, legal. And I was like, okay, the way you said it, I said, sis, I'm gonna need you to back up a little bit, man. We need you to back up a little bit, man. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a mazzoline, bro. It's a mazzoline. But yeah. So Life of Bodge, let me see Life of Bodge. Life of Bodge, how you doing? How's your sound doing, bro? Are you okay? Are you good? You okay? I don't know if he's okay, bro. But yeah, no, it was again. It was for me when Life of Bodge decided. I mean, Life of Bodge. Sorry, when Sharon and old boy were talking. Yeah, Life of Bodge, you good?
Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
We can
So
hear
who
you, bro.
are we talking about? I
We
missed
just
something.
started talking about Hugo and Sharon, bro.
Okay. Do you know what? I didn't think he was into her.
He
I didn't
wasn't.
really. I don't think at first. I didn't see that. Like, I remember she was saying that. Oh, he's too quiet. He's too
Mm,
shy. I didn't see that. I saw he wasn't really feeling her. Remember that that wasn't really his choice.
true.
She didn't really step. I don't. She didn't step forward for him, and then she said,
She
"Oh, because
didn't.
he didn't make eye contact." I think he was probably just a little bit thrown off by that. I genuinely don't think she was his choice. So I think that's probably
Mm,
what it was. I wouldn't look at it and think, oh, okay, he's just a quiet person. Because when they started talking, he wasn't really that quiet. I just think
mm,
she wanted a certain type of energy.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
wasn't
Carry it.
given that because yeah, I think that's all it was. I didn't see it as him being quiet.
Mm,
But I think generally, I don't think any of these, apart from was it which one was it? The guy that came in, the one that I think three of them stepped forward for. Apart from them,
mm,
none of these guys actually really like it or are actually attracted to each other. I think majority of them are just kind of going for what they can take at the moment. I think,
mm.
yeah, I think it's too early. Some people may work, but at initial attraction point, yeah, we're in the mud here. It's just not there for most of these guys. Even our Kaz, she is not feeling my man, so
She's not. Yeah.
she's not feeling him at all. So yeah. Well, yeah,
But
I'm
I
sure
think it
we'll
could
get into
work.
more. Let me not take over your show.
No. But it's true. No. But it's a conversation. But I think that may work in our favor this season. That so long as no more fire, if no fire person comes in, I think it can work in our favor because they're gonna have to work beyond what they look like.
Have
You
you
know what I'm saying?
seen the next thing they brought in? I mean that's worse than what they already had. Hey, let me not.
No, but if we're
Uh,
talking, if we're judging by last season's
yeah.
caliber,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I don't think the caliber is the same level
It's not.
as
It's
last
not.
year, right?
It's not.
But I think I think it could work in their favor. I think it could. I think the fact that everyone's kind of like, I think everyone's at the same level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think it
yeah,
could work
yeah.
in their favor.
I don't think anybody should be looking at anyone and thinking, like their levels above. I didn't
Yeah.
see anybody who was or who could literally look at another person and think their level was above. Even the people that they got that chose them, I think pretty much everyone's on par.
Mm.
Somewhat, some areas in it, some maybe not. But I don't think there's anything anyone should be complaining about. Just really into. But I think it's more like I think the thing that will probably be getting to most people is probably the vibe and whether they actually vibe with each other,
Mm.
whether that's your type of person rather than I would say looks. I think they're all on par with each other. Um,
Mm.
so let's see, man. Let's see. So I mean, let's get into it, man.
I don't think, and
No.
you're right. I think none of the people are, well, whoever they've got now, none of them are convinced.
Oh, definitely not.
Right?
No
None of them are
chance.
locked in. Like when they look at each other, they're going, "Yeah, that's a bit of me." Apart from maybe Faye and Brad, in terms of looking at each other first
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think she's already double thinking already because she already made that comment that, oh, I don't see my husband that kind of guy. Like because Brad just be talking in circles, bro.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So I think they're the only ones that first off when they see each other, they're like, yeah, boom, that's a bit of me.
yeah.
But yeah, I could tell straight away with Faye when she was like, I hear that, but when she started talking to him, she wasn't really feeling it. She's like, you scatter my brain looks wise, but as for the brain cells, they're not lost, and I
Ain't
need
no
them to be
chance.
lost. That's what, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like
yeah.
there's no conversation that's really, the conversation
It's
isn't.
not grabbing her yet.
It's not grabbing her yet. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's not
yeah.
grabbing her yet. What was your thoughts on actually Faye on Faye and
Gonna have to quickly remind me of the. Pull
let
up
me
a
give you a
picture.
picture of them, Faye and
Nice
Brad.
one.
Faye and Brad, these two. She came in a blue swimsuit.
Okay. I think was she the one that was sort of saying to people, "Oh, well, if you don't remember my name, then I won't." Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
she did say that.
I mean,
And she's the one that said, she's the one that stepped forward about, I think she stepped forward 3 times as well.
Mm.
and got
Yeah,
chosen
yeah, yeah. I
once out
mean,
of three.
looks wise, isn't it? They're on par. I think they can go together. But I think, if someone comes in and he thinks that guy's gone, he's gone. He's gone straight away. I just think it's just because I just think it's quite early. It's quite
Mm.
early. Um, he had a choice to make between three, and that was kind of it. It's not like maybe there was two and he picked, or he. I don't remember him saying he had a specific type.
Mm.
I don't think he wasn't the one that said he had a specific type, was he?
No,
So
he said he's one that Brad was one that was kept on saying, "Oh, I can't do anything if it's not attractive. If I'm not attracted, da da da." He was like, "Attraction's so important. Attraction's so important." He was banging on about attraction being important.
yeah, so if they drop a couple of ones, which couple of girls who meet, I guess, or tip the
The
scale for
scales.
him. He's gone. He's gone. I just think that's just how it is. And I think early days, no one should be getting angry about anything in terms of obviously what we saw in it wasn't nice what we saw, but early days, none of these people should be getting upset at anyone if they scatter within like a couple of days because it's just early days. Unless someone's been bossy and is making promises,
Yeah.
then yeah, that's when it's an issue. But I can see it scattering. Even under the circumstances, all the three girls were ready to jump ship within the
They're ready to
first couple of
jump.
minutes. So no guy should be feeling any kind of way. No girl should be feeling any kind of way at this early stage.
The girls are ready to literally. They're literally waiting for the plank to be extended so they can jump off the edge.
But
I
John,
don't. I can't
I've
beat
got
them for
no
that.
problem with it. I've got no
Yeah.
problem with it because I think it's early stage, and even the way they came in, you can tell no one's really feeling. They weren't really feeling each other like that,
Yeah,
man.
then even Sharon, she made and it was interesting because she made a comment about how she needs to see, almost she has to almost have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
So there's obviously something that she wants more than just a look. She's somebody obviously
Hmm.
maybe the intellect is somebody she likes
Yeah,
a man
yeah,
with a bit more
yeah,
intellect,
yeah,
which is why. But then she stepped forward. I don't know who she stepped forward for. Was it Brad as well? It was Brad she stepped forward for? But that was the last guy, so
yeah,
maybe that's why she did that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I
yeah.
don't know. Like I said, that's why I said I think they got a better chance than most others because I think they could be. I think some of the comments that the girls have made, at least they're trying to look a bit deeper. They accept that there has to be attraction on the outside, but they may be looking deeper. So I'm hoping that will push, for more conversations in the villa to get to know one another properly. Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It could get, bro. We're saying obviously no one should get pressed, bro. This is remember, one day to us is not the same as one day to them, bro.
No, no, no. I'm saying no one should get pressed because do you know what I mean? Remember last year, what's her name? My girl, the one that, the one that, yeah, she got pressed and remember it was within a day.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about Liberty? Or are you talking about previous shows? Boy, you better bring that connection back. Life of Bodge be just his connection right now is not connecting like somebody's beard right now. My own. Oh, Life of Bodge, where did you go? Yeah. So Leanne. Okay, Leanne for last year. Leanne for last year also the same kind of issue with Michael. But that was disrespectful. What Leanne did was disrespectful. I still don't forgive her for that, man. Yeah, bro.
Okay, I
Yeah.
couldn't tell whether it was me, whether it was you.
Oh, did it go
So,
off? Okay,
yeah,
no
yeah,
worries,
yeah,
Cap.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you were saying, bro?
Cool, cool. Yeah, no, I was saying, I think, what was her name? She was the one that was causing major problems last season. I don't want to be mean and I'm not saying say that word, but with her, yeah, I think they brought in another girl within. They brought in the twins, remember, quite early on,
Mm.
and the guy was ready to jump ship. And even with Mike, he was. Do you know what I'm saying it was quite early on, but it was like a day. But it's just the things that they were saying, I think, kind of made it look like, yeah, they were solid in it quite early on. But I think that's just how it should be. If one day you guys should be going around exploring that. I think even amongst the choices that they had, it's just the way you handled it. I remember there was the guy called Ollie, the posh guy.
Yeah.
He just kept saying too much. He was saying, "Oh yeah, you're my type. You're my." Do you know what I mean? When you're saying all that, then that's when
You're causing issues.
Yeah, but I think if you just go around and say, "Yeah, I'm open to get to know people," who can complain about that? You can't. You can't complain.
No
It's
one
still early
can.
days.
bro. This is life. People start getting pressed
Okay.
because, bro, because remember, there's that. Okay, so for instance, when you're dating someone, until obviously, yeah, you shouldn't actually feel no way if someone until someone says I want you. You shouldn't be getting pressed. But we take behavior as somebody liking you. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like for instance, I can already see a problem developing between Liberty and Jake because already I can see that she's starting to like him a lot, and he's not sure. And this is if they continue for another day or two, and then another girl comes in, she might be pressed. Now she might not be as pressed now if he goes with, let's say, the new girl coming in, whatever her name is, yeah. But if later on down the line where they spend a bit more time and he goes off with another girl, oh, she's gonna be pressed.
Yeah, sure.
She's gonna be pressed.
The only thing I would say, yeah, I think right now, looking at how these people were matched, there was no strong picks. If you really look at it, there was no strong picks because people either they picked, maybe the girls, the girls, I think, either a girl stepped forward, they picked, or that same girl was ready to jump ship, or two, and it really happens that two people are spare, and then you basically just pick your default. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't really happen. But yeah, that's my take on it.
I'm hearing that. No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense as well. Who were the other couple we had? Okay, so we had Kaz and Toby, and we had Kaz and Toby. So Kaz and Toby were the makeshift couple too. Okay, she never chose Toby. Toby never chose her. You know what I'm saying? She stepped forward for Aaron. Aaron didn't step forward for her. Toby didn't have anybody step forward for him, but he chose, I believe, Faye. I think he chose. Then got Faye taken off him after he had taken Faye off Hugo. So neither were Faye's, kind of options. She actually really wanted Aaron. Apparently she likes the bad boy mean look, or the mean look, I should say. Let me take her words exactly, but we'll deal with her in a second. But Kaz and Toby, they are a makeshift couple now, and one thing that's really interesting about their coupling, I think, is that it gives me, and I've tweeted this, it gives me PTSD a little bit. It gives me PTSD because I started thinking of last year America US version, Justine and Caleb, light skinned guy, dark skinned woman, and this has happened before. It's not just them. We had Danny and Yuande. Danny came in there and lied his socks off, saying all these brilliant words that he liked. Kaz, da 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 da, yeah. And meanwhile, he didn't have. When Arabella came in, he was out. He didn't care for Yuande one bit, bruv. He was chatting croddies, yeah. So for me, I think I started getting a little bit of that PTSD, like, oh, he's saying that everybody's beautiful, but I'm like, yeah, cuz I know you just got to talk for the show, innit? But I don't want Kaz to get drawn in, because she's saying that he's not his usual type in terms of muscular build, but I don't want her to get drawn into the madness, man. Just like Danny and the Caleb situation all over again. You feel me? But what was your thoughts with Kaz and Toby?
Okay. I think we've got to get into all of it, innit? I think I kind of have to give my view on all of it. So these two are like the factory settings Love Island contestant, right? A squarehead, mixed race guy, footballer type. Do you know what I mean? Just that standard type, and then you have dark skinned black girl that they pick sort of every season or every other season.
Yeah.
That nobody picks, right? For all the reasons which we know. But you know what? I hope she gets what she wanted out of this, because I think after 7 seasons, I think you kind of know. I think she's old enough as well. She's 26. Do you know what I'm saying? I think if someone like Yuande, when she went in, she was a bit younger. I think you'd have watched enough seasons to know what this is about. And I think we just have to be real. I think there's two things. She's already an influencer. I think she knows what she's gotten herself in for. So obviously, we don't want to see nothing too mad happen, but I think she should be all right. Yeah, man, going into it, I don't know. You had not our man you had that fella Aaron step forward and do what he did, which I wasn't surprised. But I think from when I saw the first video, I saw him. I said, "Yeah, his brother,
Yeah, I
no
knew as
chap,
well straight
no
away.
no chapstick on it." Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew what he was about in it straight away. So that's why I was like, don't even like. We already know what's gonna happen. Him not picking either of them said to me straight away, "Oh, you definitely you just thought, oh, you know what, I'm here to pick what I want." He's not. He probably isn't on Black Twitter. He doesn't follow anything that's going on that way, so he didn't care. Okay, so with them two, there's no chance, man. I think they'll probably be friends. I think he'll probably try to go after someone else if someone comes in that he likes. But either way, I also think he seemed quite immature. I don't know what they said his age was. I can't remember what they said his age was, but he seemed quite immature. It was the humor wasn't really there. It seemed quite childish. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't think she'll be on that. Don't think she'll be interested at all. From the impression I got from her, she wasn't interested. She never stepped forward. He said, "Oh, but you didn't step forward for me," and her response was, "Oh, because you didn't give eye contact." Nah. If anything, you would have given him eye contact. The guys probably would have met eye contact if there was some interest there. I genuinely don't think that she's interested at all. So, and even when she said that her type is, a bit muscular or whatever, is what it is, isn't it? I just don't think she's interested at all. So, yeah, I see them two maybe just being cool for a bit. I know you're worried about her getting sucked in. I can't see it happening, bro. I think they'd have to be. I think at least with the likes of Yewande and stuff, I think she was a bit more open in terms of what she likes. It's more to that side anyway. So, you know what I mean? I think in previous years, that's sort of been what it is. We don't know what Kansas type is. But all we know is she stepped forward for the black guy that came down. That's the only person she stepped forward for. She's not interested in this guy, man. So that's going nowhere, man. They'll be cool. They'll probably be cool for a bit. And possibly, if they stick together, they'll be the first ones voted off. It'll be something like that. Like, if anything, they'll stick together for a bit, and they'll both be gone. Yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts?
Before I jump in, I'll see if Lala can jump in, and I'll hit you up. Lala,
Go for it.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'm in agreement with Bodge, because I just feel like they just need to make an alliance and be like, let's keep each other in until a bit of me, a bit of you comes in, and then we can kind of part ways, because they don't like each other. There's not, Kaz was trying it, saying, "Oh, I fancy all the girls." You don't. Stop lying. You can tell that you're lying, right? And I think we can take a wild guess what his type is, and it's not my girl. So at least if they're honest with each other, they can probably help each other out. But it for me, it was kind of giving me Danny vibes as well. Like, I'm gonna try and make her feel like, because she's laughing at my jokes or I'm laughing at her jokes, there's something there. There's nothing there. Stop lying to yourself. Don't lie to us. We don't like it. So yeah, I think they just need to be honest and be like, yeah, let's just be brethren and help each other out until, something magwan. That's it, to be honest.
No, I'm hearing you on that. Do you know what it is? And it's interesting because I think Life Bodge, Lala, you kind of talked about it, but I think Life Bodge, you kind of mentioned it. I think where and this is probably more frustration to the show than anything, is that they have the same formula each year. So like, we do have the standalone dark skinned women, and it's like, why do you choose people that don't like black women? Like, bro, like, just keep it 100 and true. Like, choose people that do like black women, or don't put them in. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and it that's my frustration with the show anyway. But anyway, yeah. But aside that, obviously,
but I feel like they sorry, Coach. But I feel like they think they have done us a favor by having black people on there full stop. And they're like, anything more is like, hey, whoa, calm down. Like, come on, guys. Like, you're actually on the show. Look, we've got one black girl on the show. You guys should be happy, kind of thing. And it's kind of like, you're right when you were saying earlier about there was this push for LGBT. And I'm sorry, like, you guys ain't even got the race thing right yet. Come on, like, give us more and give us what we kind of deserve. And yeah, they're not catering. And I guess it's the casting directors or whatever, that's their unconscious bias or whatever, to think that that's not something they have to cater for, but they're not doing it they're doing us a big disservice, because it makes it. I've heard a lot of people say we'd rather dark-skinned black women just not go on the show if it's going to be like this. Do you know what I mean? We'd rather not be represented at all if it's going to be like this, because it's the same thing over and over and over again, and you're giving the implicit message that black women are undesirable, even when they're bad, banging, chocolate, everything. But that's undesirable. I do not think so. You know, so yeah, they need to get together.
Can I add something to the mix? Okay, so I think we all know how this whole process works, right? With Love Island, basically, you know, we make up 3% of the population in this country. It is what it is, isn't it? They're looking for one or two, and then later on they dash in a sprinkle. You know, I think what kind of confused people and was the OV when they brought in an OV who, you know, everything we say, you know, he wasn't into our sisters like that. He wasn't. That's not what he was on.
Bro, as I'm saying, that's why I don't really get excited about that.
We thought it kind of, because obviously it's the eye candy there, isn't it? So it kind of fooled some people. And not in a bad way. It's not to knock to him. It is what it is, isn't it? But like, that is what kind of like makes people think, oh, okay, yeah. So they can bring them, but people forget what actually happened on that season. People forget, you know, what he was on. Is what it is, isn't it? And I think also, in the end, he just became a vibe. He didn't really trying to do too much. He just stayed on the show, enjoyed himself, enjoyed his time on it. That aside, I think the recruitment process, there basically is anybody that comes on, you have to say you're open to basically every race. That's just how it works. You have to say it. You have to explicitly say, I'm open to every race. And then to the people that are really gonna probably describe the type of people they're going to bring on the show. It's like, oh, okay, you're probably going to talk about, oh yeah, I like a brunette, I like a blonde, all these kind of things. That's probably the main things you're going to say if you're a black person to get there. So who are they going to pick? They're going to pick the black guys that are like that. You've noticed the dark-skinned black guy that comes on. There's a certain type, bro. It's a certain type.
That's what I'm saying. They don't ever choose.
It's not one of the man them from London, and you know, and even with the man them, we're not going on this show, or the man them that can pull it off and get past, and they're not going on the show because really and truly, let's be honest, it ruins your market. You know what I'm saying? The type of guy that's gonna go on there, man them, it's gonna ruin your market. Yeah, but they don't make the money like that. The risk is probably more headache than it is the benefits when you think about it and look at the things that these people have gone through. Last season we had Mike, right? He was into, and what was he? He was the villain, right? He was the life of the show, but he was the villain. How many stories came out in the press, different things that they said about him that weren't true, these kind of things that built up, but he was a villain. Like the way it was building, it was he went to the other side for a sec, and he was a villain. Do you know what I mean? All these type of dynamics that happen there, it's just not going to happen. And the man aren't going to go on there knowing that I'm here for a certain type, expecting to find it. Because remember, just the idea of you bring on one for me, I might not like her. And it might have nothing to do with that. That might be my preference, but I might not like her. She might not like me. That's what we saw, right? And obviously, I think she felt was it Leanne? I think she felt the pressure to just go and jump into this because that's what you lot want. That's probably what black people want, innit? But they didn't really connect. So I think we push it, and they're always going to give us just one. They may dash in a couple later on, but the people they're going to bring are going to have to be open to everyone. And in a dynamic where you're open to everyone, it probably means you're not open to your own. Yeah. That's just how it's going to be. And I think as much as we want to see what we want to see, it's not going to happen because we have to look at Reflection Society. You look at when they got Ioane, she was from Ireland, bruv. That's worse than what we have in England, like, in terms of population of black. So you have to be more open to other races. I think that was something we saw with her, whatever, that's what she had to be. You saw with it just happens, isn't it? That's what it's always going to be. And then even with this guys, I'm sure she's probably used to this sort of dynamic. She's from Essex, not London, Essex, deep in the side them side. So I'm sure she's used to this. I think it's just gonna that's the fact that we're seeing it on national TV. That's why it hits us differently, because it's not the type of situation we want to see ourselves being represented in. But yeah, I think everyone should take this with a pinch of salt. I think enjoy the show for what it is.
No, I can't
Don't
do
get-
it like that, bro.
I hear you.
I'm gonna be cussing. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be cussing because you see,
Hey.
as much as I hear that, if we don't say anything, it will continue. The Love Island show. Okay, that's why I made a distinction. If this was only way Essex, if this was made in Chelsea, we don't talk about them shows. We're not invested in those shows. We don't want to know about them shows. Like them shows there, them man can have it right there. Love Island is meant to be for the commoners. Yeah, the commoners. Yeah, right. And so if you're going to, and let me tell you this now, yeah, that it is only black people specifically that this will happen to, right? Because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen to any other ethnic race, okay? Because the way they'll kick up a storm, it'll be completely different. I know that they do this for a purpose. I'm not taking that away. I'm not taking that away at all, right? But you know, on this particular aspect, right? If we don't kick up a storm, this will just continue, right? Because for me, it's abusive. It's abusive when you keep doing it because you now know our position. They can. If you're right, 7 seasons in, black women should know. No, 7 seasons in, they should know. They should now know. So now you're now doing it on purpose. Do you feel what I'm saying? And I think that reflects the state of the country, let alone the show.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Of how racism actually works. How we're talking about the fact that even a show where we are supporting, we are putting our energy into, you know what I'm saying? We spice up the show for you guys on social media even as well, right? Okay. And you're absolutely right? You're absolutely right. That and I already said this. I said, you know what? You know, I get it, you know. We saw it, like you said, we saw it with Michael last season, how they tried to make him the villain very, very quickly because he dumped one of theirs. Yeah, let me keep it 100. Well, he dumped Babylon and went to Africa. I already said this. Yeah, and when he did that, that was it. Instant, he's gonna become the villain. No matter what he does, he's gonna become the villain, right? But even so, if we don't say anything, then we become passive to this thing, and more will happen because you concede more ground. Do you know what I'm saying? So yes, I'm gonna get annoyed and I'm gonna tweet annoyance because I need to see change. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if I stay silent, then what do I expect? If you know, that's if they're not in the position of the earlier on seasons where we weren't aware. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you now know, okay, that we have problems with the representation. It is not difficult finding somebody who's educated, somebody who's black, somebody who understands the dating and the marketing aspect, who understands how to position this correctly for you to win. Yeah? So Love Island can win. There is no difficulty in getting that person. Money shouldn't even be an object because y'all are making peas. Okay? Right? So I cannot be okay with them doing this, even though I know it's the 7th season, and yes, we should know going on and show that black women are not favored. It don't make no difference because they should. This is the 7th season. They should know better. They should know better, and this is why I said to you. Sometimes even money, doesn't change them because it's not about money. It's about power, and that's higher than money. Money can give you access to power, but it's about power because it makes no sense. You have a dating show and you know exactly what you're doing by putting someone, first of all, you know that their options are not open to that. Cool. Don't either them put us in and keep it to yourselves. Okay. Right. Or do the proper work, fam, because it's the 7th season, like you said. So there is no excuse anymore for we didn't know. Okay. There's no excuse of, you know, there was only a certain amount of people that applied. My friend, I don't want to hear that. Okay. Then don't put them in. It's going to cause issues. It's going to cause drama. It's going to cause trouble. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Akin Siku said, who's they? If you don't know who they are, then you need to, then I can only say, I could say, Lala, do you want to jump in? Sorry, I know me and Budge
Yeah,
were talking.
go
Do you want to chop in?
No, I was just umming and ahhing and agreeing with everything that you were saying, because it's just tokenism at its finest, isn't it, really? It's not real authentic representation when you're just putting one or two in there and then, like I said, not catering to us. It reinforces that idea. And we are, like you said, 7 seasons in, we're not down for that. Like, no. And I think black people, we're so laid back sometimes when we just need to be like loud and kick up a fuss, and just when something is ours and claim it, kind of thing. Like you said, if anything happened with Jewish people, white people, Irish people, travel, like these people will kick up a fuss and until things get changed. But we're just like, well, we should know better and kind of know our place. And actually, no, it shouldn't be like that. They should know better by now. I agree.
Question: is this a representation then? Like, it's a more open question to have a discussion. Is this a representation then of the actual dating scene? Then is this how black women are seen in the dating scene within the UK, or is this maybe more of a microcosm, and this is something that's more highlighted on this show?
Boy, dating in general is just the ghetto, to be honest. But I don't know. I don't, cause I speak from my experience and the experiences of women that I know, which is not loads, but black women are being courted and dated, and like we are in the dating scene and we are being seen. But when you see things like this and read statistics about, is it black women and Asian men, they're the least preferred on online dating apps and stuff like that, you think, oh, okay, like it does put a dampener on it. But my personal experience is not that. Does that make sense? It's not that I get approached by actually mostly black men, but also white men as well, kind of thing. So I don't know.
Ooh la la.
It's still the ghetto. Dating is still the ghetto. But yeah, I don't like that message being pushed, that black women are less desirable. I hate it so much, because then because along with that comes with the whole, what do you bring to the table? Your standards are too high, lower your standards, all of that, rhetoric that gets pushed on us. And I'm just like, I'm not here for it. I'm not here for any of it.
What are you saying, Love Budge?
Do you know what? I think it all depends on how you look at things. I think there is definitely things that Lala has mentioned are accurate and are true, but I think it's not. We don't date in an open market.
This is true.
I think this is what I think sometimes we look at and we say, "Oh, this is what's happening." Nah, because we don't. I don't date in the same market as what Aaron's dating in. I don't go to I don't hang in the same circles that someone like Aaron hangs in. I don't fraternize with with brothers like that. It's not the same. So obviously, yeah, people that do, but I think we date in different markets. People have different experiences, and obviously, how this country is. Like, if you had grown up in a certain type of area where, yes, you are a minority, but you're breathing minority in your school, in your college, whatever, amongst your group, your peers, you are proper minority, then this is likely to be experienced. The experience of dating scene like this will reflect that. If you don't, I don't know, you grow up in ends, we have a whole different dynamic, probably, where you have the colorism conversations probably more likely to have affected you.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know about Lala. I don't know what your experience is. I don't know if you were hoping to be picked by Brad and Steve and Connor and that. I don't know, man, because that's not like, as much as I know. Even like in school, we had a mix and stuff. We weren't all going after the same goal. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't. That's not how it works. So that's why I can't say that this is a true reflection, because we don't date in the same markets. So it's one of those things where it's like you just basically brought wider society and how it looks, where if you pick everybody from their corners and you put them together, or you pick people who are used to this dynamic and you put them in again in a situation. say that you look at someone like Iwane that was coming from Ireland, she's probably used to this. This probably isn't new to her in terms of that dynamic. Obviously, we have to watch it play out with the microaggressions on 10. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Someone like Mike, he's probably used to that dynamic of like being liked by both. Do you know what I'm saying? And then, but roots and stuff are important. So these kind of things, do you know what I mean? You can dibble and dabble on both sides. A lot of guys, that's their experience. Do you know what I'm saying? If you go to university, that's probably your experience. If you hang with different parts and stuff, your course or whatever, that's what you're going to experience. So, yeah, I just think we need to think, you know, before we sort of assume that, oh, okay, yeah, this is an accurate representation of what we all experience. I think if we put ourselves and compare ourselves to wider society, then yeah. If not, and you date within your own groups and stuff, then this type of thing is not something which you experience.
Yeah, I definitely hear. I think obviously the solution isn't. I'm not asking for a solution of having more black people than white people in the actual show or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? I think a decent ratio. There's 10 people, right? 5 guys, 5 women, and we really know. Listen, and I think it is wrong for us to, or wrong for even producers to try and put it like white people are dating black people, and actually I think this actually does a lot of the reverse, where we're always saying that, that, not even say reverse, but saying in the sense of, we know white people choose white people most of the time. You give them that option, they're going to choose white girls, right? The white men, and we're not angry at that. We expect it. It's the same with black men. We would expect the same behavior. I think obviously it would be interesting maybe to have, if you had maybe two black men and 2 black women. I think even that could add a different dynamic. And if you're choosing people, these guys do extensive background stuff, right? And that's what I'm saying about who's on your team. Because if I'm choosing someone to be on a show, I'm looking at your background. Because that background obviously makes a difference. Like you were saying, Bodge, it does make a difference, right? Because like when I grew up in school, I went to a primary school that was all white, but I grew up in an all black area, right? And I'll tell you this for free. When I was probably about between the ages of like 5 and 10, primary school, 10, 9, 10, yeah, primary school wise, I was into white girls. I was into white. My school was predominantly white. Even though my area was black, I was getting bullied by black people all over the shop and the gaff. Yeah, so when I got to school, that was a nice little breather, blood. These at least if they're gonna be mean to me, they do it behind my back, right? Black people did it right to my face.
You know that experience of where in primary school you're playing Kiss Chase.
Yeah,
bro, you're running around. It makes you fast, did it?
You fast?
You're just running around for the whole lunch. The whole lunch time, you're just running around.
Just running, bro.
Everyone's running away from you.
Bro, it's do you know what I mean? It's bad. So then, even, but then obviously when I went to secondary school, I went to an all black secondary school, and there was like 1 or 2 white people, right? And then you notice the difference. So maybe it's not even Love Island differentiate. Maybe we just need to get a whole black Love Island. We'll have different problems though. But I'm saying, I'm being real. Maybe we need a whole different. We just need to set a whole Love Island that's black.
That would be so spicy.
It'll be toxicity on 10, bro.
But listen, toxicity will be on. I'm telling you, bro. But it would. But maybe then that would give, I guess. And here's my problem. Is that the reason why I have a problem with Love Island at the moment is because white people, I like them, okay? But some of the behaviors.
Disclaimer.
Some of the behaviors, yeah, are like a spoilt child who, when they've given up a toy and you start playing with it, they will never let you have it. Yeah, because as soon as we start doing a black Love Island or black, we might not even call Love Island, black getaway island or black people ready to mingle or something like that, right? White people want to get their hand in a pie and start mashing up the format. So we had it perfect, it was looking good, and then suddenly they want to get their hand inside of it. Bruv, do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're going to do that, why can't you guys just let it be? Or at least if you're going to produce your show, produce it in a certain way. Do you understand? But hey ho, that's the opposite thing. Nobody come here and say that I don't like white people. Anyway, besides the point, my thing here is I definitely agree with you. But I definitely think that we need to. I think we need to be able to. We need to be able to have people, I think, in the background of Love Island who are, who are acquainted with black folk and the nuances within black people, right? Because there are nuances, right? This is why we see and this is how I know white people know exactly what they're doing. They know what black men to choose. So there's nuances that certain black men do not like black women, or they don't necessarily date them as a preference, and you know that every single time. So we need some better producers in there, or better researchers in there, who are going to help with the process of choosing people to be on the show that, and do better. Do you know what I'm saying? But,
I'm looking at some of the chat, and I just want to say, in the UK, our dynamic, it has similarities, but it's quite different to the US.
Yes.
I want it to be clear.
Talk about it.
I think because I see a lot of things where I'm like, they're saying stuff like, oh, the elite black big man, we ain't got that. We ain't got that there. It's not. It doesn't look the same in it. So
it doesn't.
I think, there's people comparing like NBA, all these kind of things. Like, it's not our scene. We don't have that. We don't have that. Our scene isn't like that. The difference is that for the type of guys that you're seeing come on these shows and that are dating, I guess the Babylonian women, as they say, them man, they didn't grow up with the rest of us in the ends and stuff like that. Their experience as black people is usually quite different. It's not, man from the ends that are like that are then going on to then intentionally decide to date outside of their race. That's not what's happening. It's people that are used to that dynamic, used to being the token, used to being. So this is something that they're used to. This is their lived experience. The same with, I would say I wouldn't say all of, but some of the black women that have gone on as well. They are from a similar type of situation. I'm talking about the actual individuals that have gone on. If you actually look at their backgrounds as to what they've said, you'll see that they're used to this similar type of dynamic. So I think before we assume, that it's all about upbringing and what you're used to, and in most of these cases, these people are used to, staying outside. And even I see people talking about like sports, right? And like the black elite and stuff like that. Again, you don't grow up in like going to like high schools or high schools and whatever, where it's predominantly black, and then you then go to college, and then all of a sudden you then only now date white. That's not what we've got here. What happens is these guys are going to academies.
Yep, starting young,
where they are minority. So it gets them young. They're constantly around people that don't look like them. We don't have others. We have maybe what rugby is the other one. Rugby is predominantly white. Yeah. These sports are predominantly white. So this dynamic is what you're used to. So on a Saturday when these might not want to go out after the game and stuff, you're going to Essex, you're going to these places, you're going to Kent, you're going out to areas where it's not our type of people that are there. So that's what these guys are used to. They're used to that dynamic of being the token, the minority, and that's where the thing is. I think we need to stop trying to compare the dynamic. It's quite different in terms of that. It doesn't reflect maybe what you have in the US, where you still have people that get to become I guess big sports stars and then they stop dating their own. It's less like that. It's more ingrained from the onset, from an early age. This is the path that they're on. I think just to say that, and then obviously, we don't really have like, I guess we have like a couple of big black sports stars or black female sports stars, but we don't really have. We have like a couple that come through, but again, in terms of athletes, there's a few, right? There isn't many. So it's like in comparison, and even in terms of that, they don't have their own sort of circle that they all hang in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not how it goes. We're a small minority, 3%. So imagine now, you look at how that looks in sports and stuff like that. It's even worse, or it's a lot of it is foreign imports in terms of the players. So I guess maybe people from France can speak about what it's like in France, because I know they have their dynamic is mad as well. But yeah, I think there are. I'm not trying to excuse dynamics like colorism or people self-hate and things like that. That all exists, but it's not the same. The dynamic is quite different. So I wouldn't try to compare it. But yeah, maybe Lala can talk on that. I don't want to dismiss anything that you may feel about that.
No, I'm hearing that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that, bro. I also, I think and I think this is probably a good segue conversation to talking about maybe the differences between what we see in US and what we see in the UK. In terms of the term being black, right? Because US is a different beast to what we have in UK. Considerably being that most of the black diaspora that we see in UK, if not all, if I'm saying most, there's a cultural aspect tied to it, which is not tied to this land, right? So Caribbean and African, anybody who is black here will have roots in Jamaica, but in Africa or Caribbean, which makes it slightly different to the US market, where people are, if they trace their lineage back, not sure where they come from. And so they've built their own identity of what black is, and it's slightly different to what we have. So when you're talking about, for instance, even the dating scene amongst blacks, we have similarities, like you're saying, but there are the nuances that happen in between that, which is that you're right. When we, certain man can grow up in a certain area and be around white folk all the time, and then only want to date, white women in that case, or whatever. So I think when we're dealing with the dating aspect within the UK, I think we have a different kind of challenge we're facing. We face a challenge of not only just, I guess, color, but more in terms of class as well. That can kind of play into it in terms of the intersectionality. And so it's I mean, if you, like you're saying, take the sports people, you have black men, you have black men who have made it into sports. And I think you made a really good point that these men are bred from early into academies, and when they're bred into these academies, they're surrounded by white folk. It's just what it is, and their whole environment is around white folk. Their whole and this is what I always say, we're all validated by external sources. So their whole validation around them is white. So unless you have a very strong cultural input from your parents considerably throughout the whole way of your journey of becoming a sports person or whatever, it's easy to give up that, because your culture here is what's being cultivated, meaning that what scenario and environment you've been into, right? And I do have empathy sometimes for some of these guys, because like I said, when I went to school, I went to a primary school that was all white, but as soon as I went to a secondary school, it was all black. At that point, I'm 12 now, and even though, and at that age, the black girls were mean to me, bruh, I fell in love. I said, I can't do these white people. I'm sorry. I think they're amazing, but I can't do them. Yeah, because I started to fall in love with my own culture and fall in love with my own nationality, and fall in love with, being what I'm going to put on quote unquote what black is, because it's nuanced, right? What black is, and I fell in love with that in secondary school. Now, if you catch me academy age, you can, and even academy, go into some of these sports people from early. We're talking about the elites now. We're not even talking about the general commoners. That's a different conversation. Yeah. But you catch them early. You catch these kids from like 7, 8, 9, right? 7, 8, 9. You have not solidified at all any point who you are. You know what I mean? So it's so you're they no worries, Allah. They can catch us from early and begin. I like to call it, you are programmed by the environment you're in. You're cultivated towards this particular thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but then I would say this, even though women, because we do find women in the same environment, and they don't do what we do necessarily.
Yeah, sorry, coach. My main thing was when because the main example that always seemed to come up is when we talk about sports stars, rappers, etc. If you see what I mean, and the two on both sides, the sports stars and let's say the artists, the rappers. I think in terms of that dynamic, I think maybe with the artists, you probably can say they're a bit more comparable in terms of that. In terms of black women that are artists that I guess ascend, and then and black men. But in terms of sports, the scene isn't like that, where we have our own scene is now, even with what we have in terms of, I guess, what you would say, with black music being at the forefront of the culture and things like that. Still a lot of white people infiltrating that same scene. It's not set in stone as black scene. It's just now popular culture. So I think in terms of that, how, because this is what people compare it to. They're comparing it to what they see as the elite, right? The people that have made it up. So, that's what we're talking about. So if we're talking about those examples of what is comparable, I would say it's not the same dynamic. When you look at everything else in society, then I can say to some extent you have similarities in terms of people who choose to maybe only date outside their race in that sense. That may not necessarily all fall within the dynamic of, oh, you are you only grew up around whatever. Do you know what I mean? I don't necessarily think that's the case. I was just trying to say, because I think people probably
I know you weren't in that.
I was blanketing the whole of the US in that type of way. I'm talking about the dynamics that people tend to talk about, or the type of professions, the money, really, I guess, is the aspect when people get rich. We don't. The dynamic is different in that sense. That's what I was referring to. Corporate world, again, is what it is. It's going to be like that. These people get into a certain type of dynamic as well, and you see. But I know loads of people within the corporate world, black, married to black. Do you know what I'm saying? But I also think I still think upbringing is a big factor, because I think for a lot of our diaspora, we are, especially I guess for myself, being of African heritage, very much close with my roots. So I think that dynamic is quite different in terms of where a lot of us are first generation still. I think as time goes on, if we were now third, fourth, this thing is going to be mad. Do you know what I mean? The way we're going to be intertwining is going to be mad. And I think that's the difference. America has it, but it doesn't have it like that. The majority of them are third, fourth. Do you know what I mean? They're going into mad generations. It's a total different type of dynamic. Yes, you're going to have your communities. You know what I mean? It's a big country. You have your communities of immigrants and stuff like that. But with us, I just think it's a different dynamic, and I wouldn't compare the two. And it's not to take away that self-hate doesn't exist. It's not to take away the conversation that colorism doesn't exist. I just think the dynamics are not the same, and that's all I was trying to say.
That's right. I appreciate that, bro. There's nothing wrong with what you were saying anyway, bro. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. Sam, I don't know if you heard what our conversation is.
No, I was just going.
Yeah.
Sorry, hopefully my Wi-Fi is not messing up and you can hear me properly. Yeah, look, I was just when I was even watching Love Island, I was actually flicking through the France match and Love Island. But yeah,
Same.
But yeah, I can't lie to you. When I saw what happened, can I say I'm surprised? Not in any way, shape, or form, to be honest, because I have to say it is what it is now. I can't lie, because personally for me, like, whole background, I grew up in practically an all-black primary school, or all-black what's it called, secondary school. Obviously there was some other races there, but it was predominantly black. And with me and like black women, it's just like that was like black women was my attraction because that's all I knew.
Mm.
Um, and sometimes London can be such a, especially in North London, it can be such a small place where you think that okay, people should think like you, or people will think the same as me. I'm attracted, a black boy attracted to black girls. Well, that makes sense. But then I remember moving to Portsmouth for
Mm.
university
Lord of mercy.
and just seeing the black people that live there and just looking at the way they move and what they're surrounded. Obviously, there's not really any black women there as such. There's a lot of black men there, maybe because of football or they're doing something else. But
Mm.
and just seeing the way they move and what they what they're like. At the time, it was weird for me, and it still is. I still can't wrap my head around it, but it's just like what they're attracted to like, with white women, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But actually, just delving into what's it called? Why they don't go with black women, they
Mm.
rather go with white women. Like why? Some men say that oh it's because that's what they used to. They didn't really have much black women there. I think there's a lot of men that make that, an excuse for that. There's a lot of self-hate. I can't lie. Listening to what they're saying, they do. There's an undertone of bashing black women, which I
Mm-hmm.
don't like. So some people have to check, and when you check them on it, they don't realize what they're
Mm.
saying, and it's like when racist. Um, they live in I don't know in rural areas in England and they've never seen black people before and they're just being taught this and that and when they say something to like a black person they don't see it as racist or stereotypical or whatever but when they actually what's it called get checked on about it then they realize oh wait hold on this might not be the right thing to say and that's the same for black men when it goes to black women so some I can understand why but really and truly, it does take because like sometimes I just understand it. Like with black women, they understand me. I understand them.
Mm.
They have the same banter. We have the same culture. We know our lingo and stuff like that. And it's just like I just can't wrap my head around it fully as well. Maybe somebody else can tell me about it, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think, yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
that between the two, black men and black men, especially I guess here, we've internalized self-hate in two different ways.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I think, across the board in some sort of way, we both receive certain or made to hate ourselves in certain ways. And I think what happens is with sort of with a lot of black men in that situation is they then turn it on to black women in terms of their dating preferences, whereas maybe black women in terms of them, it's towards I guess the way they look, or in certain times that would be tend to be, and it may not necessarily change their dating preferences, but that's the dynamic that you're seeing with a lot of black men is that they are changing their dating preferences or they are making excuses for it because of that. Do you know what I mean? And I think from an early age, it tends to be it's the same sort some of the dynamics of certain things being said to you, thinking a certain way, maybe
Mm-hmm.
thinking that being dark skinned is ugly, those kind of things, because it's the same things being said to each other in terms of from an early age, not necessarily maybe from outside the community, and then what you're then seeing is black men then turning on to black women and then perpetuating that self hate onto them, whereas it's been internalized in a different way by black women, and then who maybe still grow up, and still continue to date black men, despite maybe that dynamic. But we all experience some sort of level of you know hate, or whether it be racism, whatever, that we're looked at in a certain way, which has made us hate ourselves in some sort of way. I think some people, they unlearn it quite quickly. They don't internalize it fully the way some of us, so others do.
Mm.
But I think that's what you're seeing. I think from a wider perspective, black men are internalizing it and then reacting to do it a certain way. You may get, I think it's far and few in between anyway, in terms of examples where I guess you see black women purposely going out and, or not, so I wouldn't say purposely, but internalizing it and then projecting it onto others. I think it's far and few in between in comparison to black men on the other side.
I just genuinely think that with black men, with some black men, they don't realize what they're actually, how would I say, taking in, because you can take in somebody's culture, you can take in somebody's lifestyle and the way they live in, and because it's all around you, that's the norm. And even the subtle just undertones in what people say, you can take that on. And it's like when you get checked on about it, it's like, whoa, I have to be on the defensive because that's just the normal to me now, because that's what happens all around me. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is why I just find it's very hard even to speak to guys, like, because as I said before, in Portsmouth, I was talking to guys that I was trying to understand why, and already they will go on the defensive. Now, because I was another guy, they listened to me a lot more. If this was another black woman coming at them, yeah, it's a whole argument going in between them. But because I was a guy and I was like telling them these little things, why is this? And they were breaking down why. You just realize that they're taking on things from the environment that they don't even realize because it's so normal to them now. And they realize at the end, it's not normal at all. It's just, you can take in an environment, but where do you actually make the difference between, okay, this is right and this is wrong? Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I'm definitely hearing that, Sam. And do you know what? I think similar to you, I've had experience where I spoke to a guy and he, was talking about dating, and bruh, the excuses that he brought out, I said, bruh, did this guy read a post on how to hate black women or something? Because like every excuse he used was every excuse I've probably done. I remember I did a post back in the day on why certain black men don't date white women, right? And they were all the crappy excuses that men use, and he literally went through every single one of them. He talked about weave. He talked about the fact that they're rude and aggressive. He said that they don't listen. He said, but he just went through the list, and I was just looking at him like, I said to him, bro, okay, I hear you. Okay, I said, so you're telling me that white women do these things? He said, yeah, that's what white men. And I looked at him and he was like, wow, why are you looking at that for? I said, because, bro, everything you've listed, yeah, is the stereotypical bullcrap that they feed you through media. And you listed like 8 out of 10 of those things, right? Now, don't get it twisted. You can meet some black women who fit the stereotype. That's why it's a stereotype, right? And that's why I said sometimes I do feel, if we look at it from a psychological point of view, sometimes I do feel for these men, because what happens is you get fed the lies and then someone confirms the bias.
Yeah.
So you meet the first girl, and that first girl does exactly what they told you these black women will do, and then it confirms the bias. And here's the thing. Men are choosers, not being chosen. So there is a completely different dynamic for men and than it is for women. So I know someone will like, but black women are loyal all the time. I'm like, you don't be choosing. So you can't actually compare your eyesight to my eyesight. We're in two different markets. We actually don't see things exactly the same. I'm a chooser. You are to be chosen. Right? And I know someone were going to say that they do the choosing too. You don't. I'm not saying you don't choose a partner, but what I'm saying to you is you wait for us to choose you. It's slightly different. So when you are the chooser, you have the option. And that's where the problem lies in. So you get confirmational bias, and then you have the ability and the power to choose other. And that puts you in a place where now you go and choose someone who is, like I said, the different person. Let's say, the white woman, and now she's soft and feminine. Basically, all the lies they told you at slavery is what this guy then chooses, right? And so again, I'm not against interracial relationships. I'm against interracial relationships, like you were saying, Sam, and I think Lifebot just kind of put out there is these men that have internalized self-hate and then chosen to go into these relationships, and I struggle to to identify with you, but I understand there's a psychological trauma that's happened, but I fail to identify with you. If I'm looking at you and I see both your parents are black, and then all your dating history is white, and I'm looking at you like, okay, I hear you, but what's going on? Because if we're talking about psychology, we're talking about Oedipus complex and all that kind of stuff, right? You look at your parents, the opposite sex, and you're supposed to, almost like, quote unquote, as Oedipus would say, fall in love with mom, or fall in love with your dad, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, as you begin to date, you're looking for those same qualities. And I'm looking at you like, so did that not come into play in your choice? You know what I mean? But again, I'm not even trying to even shoot them down. I am shooting them down. I'm shooting them type of guys down because they come with vitriol. Yeah. They come with cussing. They're the ones that will end up on social media saying stuff about black women. They're the ones that will come out and say some wild things that are destructive, rather than saying, you know what, I made a choice of preference, and actually, I chose a white woman, and you know what, it's not because I hate black women or anything like that. It's just I felt like this was a natural choice, or I was in an area, and not even in an area that's dominated. I met someone, and that person had all the qualities that I wanted, and I fell in love with that person, right? But the caliber of the person by what they say about the opposite sex, right? And to where they stand. So if you're a black person, right, and you are talking about black women being X, Y, and Z, I already know that you're in pain. Like, you didn't make a choice because you like white women, or you didn't make a choice because this woman's great. You made a choice because, fam, to be honest, you don't like black women because there's some self-hate there, bro. There's some pain, some trauma there. So I don't know. It's yeah, but you're right, Simon at Life Budget. Like, honestly, I had to check one brother on this time, and it was, I just yeah, bruh. And to be honest, yeah, there was some madness like that, and even Twitter was part of that nonsense back in 2012 to 14. We had some people bringing up those madnesses as well. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if Life Budget or Sam wants to interview. Oh, Lala, you back? Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. I just kind of caught a little bit of what you said. I was gonna take it further as well, because not even just that you don't like black women, you don't like yourself. The problem is you, right? But it's easier to project that and say black women this, single mothers that, all of that kind of stuff. Well, when black men get involved with women that are not black, they make single mothers out of them as well, right? The abuse and all of that kind of stuff, the same things that go on in the black community. When black men choose women that are not black, those things still go on. So it's not the women per se.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking about the whole insidious nature of white supremacy, us internalizing it so that everything white on the hierarchy of life is great. Yeah, we want to, or is at the center of every part of our lives. And with black men, what they would never admit to is wanting to be in the place that white men are in. So I'm going to take what the white man values, his woman, and my proximity to her adds value to me. People don't think like that, but
psychology.
From what I see, that's what is happening, because generally, like you said, when asked or speaking about why your preference is this, why would you go to black women aren't this, black women aren't? Talk about the woman you love then. Talk about her. Talk about how she fulfills your every need. No, but this, but that. No. That's not stemming from love. That choice is not stemming from, yeah, I've tried this, I've tried that, and this is the best for me. It's not. It's stemming from hate. But that's not a conversation that, black men in general want to really have. And like you said, I've been seeing a lot of stuff on my YouTube, my homepage coming up about like the manosphere and the black manosphere kind of thing, mostly American stuff. But some of the things that these guys are saying are wild. And I'm like, we are on the same side. Like, everything that you have gone through as a black man, black women have gone through it and more, because we are women, right? Because we have to put up with everything you go through, and then you as well. But yet we are so, I feel like we're more race loyal, if you want to call it that, than black men are anyway. But we hold on to, no, we want a black king and even while being trampled on by the people that look like us. by the ones that we give birth to. We'll still hold on and be like, no, we want to marry a black man. I'm not going to go outside my race, all of that, while you guys are dissing the people that give birth to you, your moms, your sisters, your aunties, all of that kind of stuff, the people that grew you, going outside and then still having the same problems. So when are those men going to start to look within themselves? What's going to make them start to say, actually, in order to build the society I want, I need to first build the man that I need to be, and then build the family that I need to be, because strong families are what build strong communities, are what build strong societies. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like they want the end goal without taking all the steps that you need to take first. And I'm just like, I'm just fed up of it, to be fair. And there's like a whole, range of women talking about divesting, right? Just forget the black man. Black man ain't shit. I never want to get to that stage, but I can understand it. Like, I can understand it.
I hear you.
So yeah, it's a lot of self-hate, definitely.
Go for it, Life of Bodge. I see.
And let's just call it how it is. Like, there's a lot of guys that when the response is to black women, oh, you're this, you're that, the response I always hear is that black women never like me and stuff like that. Let's just get this straight. Their characters in themselves are wrong, because the way that they want to move to black women, and black women are just not having it, they want to lash back at them and say that, oh, yeah, you guys are the problem, when it's actually them that's the problem. Especially when it comes to like things like catcalling, or the them just expecting a black woman to just come to them and just give them the all or whatnot. And when they don't get that, because they're just moving very trashy, that's when they want to decide to move to other races and stuff like that. And they don't even look within themselves and say, do you know what? Maybe it's the way that I'm moving that's the problem, and not black women themselves.
Life of Bodge, you want to add? Go for it.
Yeah, man. I think I like what Sam OG said, because I think a lot of that and a lot of what you said, you can see that for a lot of black men, is we don't really have to. The reality isn't it, the way life is set up, the way the world is set up, the way patriarchy is set up. We don't really have to reflect on certain things in the same way. So things like, I guess it's desirability, right? So for a lot of black men, the fact that other races at a higher rate are like you, and then as well, like the sort of the sexual prowess that I guess is put on us. It's not even always true. It's put on us. That is also a factor, because you're still liked. Women still like you, and for a lot of men, that's a badge for them. That's what is they hold at the top. All these other dynamics that I guess happen, they can look past all of these type of things, because that is one last thing that's still there. If that was taken away, we'd all be in the same boat in it, and it would be an equal playing field of things which we will be experiencing. Because outside of our perceived sexual prowess or features in terms of that, or how black men are seen, hypersexualized, do you know what I mean? Take that aside, we'd all be in, because we're still at the bottom in terms of how they treat us in the workplace. We still experience the same sort of microaggressions. It's just that one area in the dating world, obviously patriarchy as well, and how that but that we only tend to benefit that when we look towards our own. That's the only time when we really benefit from patriarchy, is when you then compare it to black women. So I think these are all factors as to why a lot of black men are never ever going to be able to see or are able to look past the idea that, yo, look, this isn't right. Look, this is based on self-hate. Do you know what I mean? But I get, do you know what I'm saying? I get women though. Do you know what I'm saying? These are things which some people aren't going to look past. I know I'm simplifying it, but I think that is kind of an area. If take that away, we'd all be on the same playing field. And we probably would all be looking inwards towards each other. I think it's that, and I think a lot of guys, and I've seen it, guys who may not necessarily It's not that they only date outside their race, but when that sort of is thrown at them or is put to them by other races, they take it as a badge of, oh yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Know that the whole black men are more endowed, that kind of thing. That's
BBC.
something. That's a big thing. That's a big thing that they take, that is taken by a as a badge of honor. And I think if you take that away, the sexual thing, I genuinely think
There's
we'd all
nothing
be
left.
on an equal playing field, and we wouldn't be looking like this. But that for a lot of guys, they can't see past certain things where, bro, this is racism. This is, do you know what I'm
Mm,
saying? There's certain
mm,
things that are being put to you, and you're taking on as a badge of honor. And then I think one thing was really good was when Nala mentioned the, I guess the white man dynamic, or black men wanting to be in white spaces, and it doesn't just go to the dating world. It's all out. I think we're taught, right? We're from an early age, we're all competing to basically join the white space, to
mm.
join the corporate ladder. Do you know what I mean? Which is controlled by the white man. So without trying to sound like Dr. Umar, but that is where we're all headed from a young age. This is where we're told to go. These are the type of things that they do. This is what, do you know what I'm saying? We're competing, and to an extent, maybe this is not something that I think is always done with awareness, but it seems like, according to the stereotype, is the one area that where we can compete. Do you know what I'm saying? Is in the that area, in it,
Sexual
and
prowess. Yeah.
and the idea that you made that, oh, or a white woman, oh, she's a black man, and look, it's fed into everything. Look at, if you look at take I guess one of the things that the likeness you'll find, that type of dynamic, is in the porn industry, right? That they love that one. They love that one. They love that one, is the dynamic of a white woman being obsessed with a black man. That's the one that they sell the most to you. That category, the interracial, whatever, is what they sell the most to people, because it kind of feeds into people's fantasies on both sides, feeds into people's stereotypes on both sides, and a lot of guys have bought into that, and lived experiences kind of say that this is happening. But it's a fetish. It's
Yeah.
a fetish. But we're not always willing to accept that, you know. And you know what I mean? And obviously, so I won't really talk, but you know, you get them ones, and I think as a black community, sometimes we're obsessed with this idea. Oh, okay, a white person comes into a black space, does what black people are doing and what we've done for years, and we all get giddy and excited about what they're doing. Oh yeah, do you know what I mean? Or we
God
see a white,
forbid.
but it's what's happening. We see it all the time. None of us are too a white man comes speak some Yoruba or some Twi,
Oh my
and we're
gosh.
all getting gassed out of our mind.
The aunties on WhatsApp go crazy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it's been fed down, right? Like I think for us, colonization, bruv, they love it. Like it's one of them ones, you know. How much do our aunties and uncles, our parents love the Queen, love Diana? But just another white woman to me. But hey, you know, they love her, man. They love her, and I think these are some of the issues. You know, like you've seen it. You know what I mean? And obviously, I just see, sometimes I see the things, I just look past it. But these are all factors where you know, white supremacy has really done a number on us. It's still doing a number on us today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's me on that one anyway.
No, I'm hearing you, bro, and you know, this is really good conversation. Do you know what? I think, you know, this is why we have the space here, and I'm sure other platforms are doing the exact same thing. But this is why we need more spaces where we are having these conversations, because it's not just the conversation that's important; it's the visibility, you know, and being able to, you know, because dating is about visibility. If I can't see you, I can't date you. It's that simple. I can't see you, how am I going to date you? You know, and I think when we're in need of more spaces like this where there is intelligent conversation that puts us in a different light. Do you know what I mean? That puts a different narrative and spin on what black people are like, right? Because we have a whole media machine that don't give a heck about black people and will spin us to be, as you just said, the sexual prowess, be the mandingo. I watched Too Hot to Handle, okay, and season 2. And you know what? They described Marvin as, yeah, he's good looking, did it? And what do they say? He's big. And he looks like he has a big what? Ding dong. So you can see, although it's a, again, like you're saying, it is, someone might call it a compliment. In some regards it is, but it's the sexualization, number one. Or two, it's the fetishization that happens as well, right? Because this wasn't black women talking, all right? This was them, okay? So, you know, this is why these important conversations are needed, because it adds visibility, right? And it changes the narrative of what black people can be, what they are, and how we operate and how we move. And it gives other people some space to also come into and be able to have these kind of conversations and be free, right? Because this is why we have this channel here, so you can be as black as you want to be. You understand? Because it's tough out here, fam. You go to work in an office and you try to be black, and you can only give them 60%. Because if you give them the 100%, them man are gonna while out. Like, what the hell is this? Straight to HR. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna be writing letters and saying you're suspended for things that you're doing, which are you being your full self, right? We haven't. So already, you know, they're not necessarily safe spaces. So we can't even be our true, authentic selves, and then the media will represent us in a certain way. And so these kind of conversations we're having, whether it's online or offline, I can't wait to have these conversations offline too, are important, you know, to change that narrative of what we see about black men and about black women, and how we see them. Lala, I see your mic's open. Do you want to say something?
What was I thinking? I've got the worst memory, you know. I was thinking about this quote that the mark of a civilized society is how they treat or how they show compassion for those that can't fend for themselves and those that are in need. So the weak, basically. So if you think about women and children being like the weakest in the society, how a society treats their women and children shows how civilized they are or not. Now, what's interesting to me is that with black men, I have to start off with some black men, I always have to say some black men, this whole kind of, I see it's kind of like running away from your people, them running away from your women, running away from your children, and other nations are looking at it and thinking, because white men don't do that. Chinese men don't. You can't chat about white women anyway. You can't chat about Jewish women anyway. You can't chat about Asian women anyway as a black man, right? But black men, the way that they go in publicly on their own women, it makes them look bad because you're the men, right? You're the leaders. So if there's a problem with us, it begins with you. It begins and ends with you, right? If we're being traditionalist about this, right? It begins and ends with you. Not knowing that the scripture about 1 can kill 1,000, 2, 10,000. Not knowing that together, this social economic mobility that you're searching for, actually, as a family together, that's when you will reach it. Not by yourself. Not by isolating or excluding the ones that's got your back, your women, your children, and just, you know, kind of leaving them and trying to, I don't know, walk off into the sunset with Sharon. It doesn't, as a collective, it doesn't work. And that's why we're so far behind. So black men have to cling on to this whole BBC narrative. They have to, because that's all they got. I'm sorry, that's all they got. That's all they got. The sexual prowess, all of that. They don't want to claim it as a fetish or anything like that. They want to say, yeah, people love us. Okay, but if you took that away, what have you got? What power or influence have you got to change things in a society, to change laws, to make things a bit easier for those that look like you? None. I saw this clip where there's a black woman and white woman and a black man in the car, and she was saying to him that dating a black man for white women is not a badge of honor. He's trying to argue with her. And she's like, no, you can't argue with me because I'm a white woman that has dated black men, and other white women and white men do not see that as a badge of honor. For them, it's, do you know what I mean? For them, like, you're kind of slumming it. For black men, they see it as a badge of honor because they feel like I said before about the proximity to whiteness, they're clamoring for something that they're never going to get that way, to be fair. But what they're leaving behind is what they need to carry with them. And it's their women and their children. That's my That's my thoughts on it, to be fair.
Oh, I don't know if you guys seen the video recently on Cynthia G's channel, where she had a conversation with a white male, and this this was an interesting conversation. The white male came on and he was saying, obviously, that that when they look at black males and some of the behaviors that they have, they, I don't want to say look down, but they look down. Like, I don't want to say look down, but they look down. And he made one comment that really, I thought he was capping. Some other stuff, I see it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna disagree some of the stuff he said, because I think some of it was true. But this part was a cap for me. He was like, but I think he might have had to add more nuance to the conversation if he's talking about a certain part. It's where he said, white men are not scared of black men. And I heard and I said, like,
are you sure?
Are you sure? Like, brother, are you sure? Now, unless you're talking about where white men are in in exclusive power points, then that's a different conversation. But when we're on the same level playing field, and even then, when you're in those positions, the reason why you do what you do is because out of fear. But when he said it, he was like, she was like, oh, she said to him, oh, do white men fear black men? And he started laughing. What? White men don't fear black men. And I was like, see, and the thing for us was this whole conversation narrative was to try and get people to see that, I guess the whole narrative of this conversation was to kind of see that obviously black men aren't viewed as anything much in the eyes of the white society. And I was like, yeah, but we already knew that. What the frick is the point of this conversation? Right? So and so I was just like, I was like, yo, we already knew white men don't look at black men like anything. We already knew that the power is against us. We already knew that, listen, like you said, Lala, we already know that black men, when they're dating white women, it's a badge of honor for them. But for white women, it don't, right? We saw that even last year with the whole, where the white women were in a group chat and they started talking about black men, right? Okay, let me say this. Those of us who are more versed and have more conversations, a bit more eclectic, open their mind up to things, have become aware of those things. Those who are a bit more closed off and, seem to amble through life may not be aware of those things. But I thought the majority of us were quite aware of some of these things that white people felt about us. This is why we're beefing them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I saw that conversation with Brian, it further made me angry about the fact that there is a beef going on. I'm kind of going left about this conversation, but there's kind of like this beef now that we're seeing on social media, specifically YouTube per se, where we're trying to have, like you were saying, Lala, the divesting thing, which I don't think necessarily is a problem. I don't think much is a problem. But then trying to almost have this, almost within ourselves, a war between black men and black women, which I know there's some things that we need to sort out. But it was like they were using a third party to come in and become to try and triangulate the conversation, to try and prove a point. And I'm like, this is not helping us, right? As a community, this isn't helping us. Do you feel what I'm saying? Right? It doesn't help our community having this kind of dialogue where it's like that. And I'm not even just blaming her, because the black men out here, when you get Kevin Samuel style, these are the extremes which I don't think we should be listening to. They don't help aid our community in any sense. They only further cause those fights between us. But I did think it's interesting that we are talking about race and dating outward side of our race, and some of these conversations may not be had with people who are dating outside of race, whether you self-hate or don't self-hate. Is this a conversation that you are aware of? Are you having these kind of conversations? Is your partner aware? I just got to keep it 100. Like, if you are dating outside your race, this is an extreme sport, and people need to be educated in what they're getting into, right? But I think last point on this, I think I said to a friend, some black men will date outside their race, not necessarily be self-hating, but they'll date outside their race and won't want to be involved in educating their partner because it's easier that way. It's a whole lot of stuff to educate somebody on doing that. And I think Life of Bodge kind of said it. Black men don't have to do this. It benefits it, you know what I mean? Although it benefits us in the long run, the short term thing is it doesn't benefit him to do so. He doesn't have to go out of his way to do so because of patriarchy, right? So yeah, it's a situation. Life of Bodge, talk it. You want to say something?
But I think okay, just fine. Let me just say this on the whole. I guess the two spectrums, right? I guess the side to those that sit outside of the community in terms of their views and I guess the ones that want to date outside. I just think, I think for those of us who want to stay inside, we don't benefit nothing from listening to their views. I think if anything, all it does is just angers us and makes us like get annoyed and all these kind of things. And I think also on their side, hey, look, if you guys want to go, I mean, go in it. It's just that you guys go on your side. But I think a lot of the time what we're seeing when these topics come up and when we see these angles is a lot of time is spent of them on the outside of the community, still looking in, still commenting, still trying to have a say on what's going on. And it's like, well, no, you said that this is why you've outlined your reasons as to why you want to be gone. So just stay on the outside. I think that's what's happening, and it's actually not helping in terms of that community, despite what we may think of how messed up it is on the inside. Those dynamics don't help anyone in terms of that, because you have people that don't believe that don't want to see things go that way, but these are the things and dynamics, and they believe that this is what everybody believes now, and that's where we're going, where a small minority who see it one way are now almost becoming a voice, or almost becoming the voice of the silent majority that don't feel that way, but are not that engaged with some of these topics. So I think I would say that on that. But yeah, I just think for a lot of the stuff that we're experiencing, I was just not going to say about wokeness, man. I just think a lot of people need to rethink some of the things which I guess they see as norms, and unlearn that. By all means, if everybody wants to date interracial, do what they want to do, that's fine. But you can't pretend like these things don't exist. I think some people are choosing to be ignorant. I'm saying some people are just ignorant just because of their environment and things like that. But some people are pretending things aren't the reasons, and maybe haven't unpacked a lot of the trauma that they've experienced. And again, I think there was a big point I guess Lala was talking about in terms of the way we see things. And I'll just reiterate, in terms of for Black men, we have I guess self-hate there that we internalize in a different way to where Black women do, and that's just the bottom line. It tends to be a case of it then goes back outwards and then onto them, whereas I guess with theirs it could just be between themselves, their own gender, or it could be just in terms of themselves as a person. You see that more, and a lot of guys don't deal with that, and again, and they don't, like I said, they don't have to, because of the way in which I guess they believe the world sees them. And I think for a lot of people who maybe have these certain perspectives, they'll never be able to look at, I guess, white people in a certain way, or look at certain things that white people do in a certain way, because that's their circle. Once they come out and say, or once they come out and start thinking these things, it's going to be very, very hard for them to go and live their life around people that, I guess, look at these things unconsciously. It's the same way, you're like people that think a certain way unconsciously about Black people, the stereotypes, even just the way in which they see certain things. I was saying, I think, when we talk about all the fetishes, the men are fetishizing us in a way as well. I've been in situations where I remember, uni housemates. Remember, it's all white guys. So this is obviously the situation that was set up for me for my first year. So, it's someone's birthday. They said, "Oh, let's go out." Knocked on my door. "Oh, let's go out." I was like, "Okay, cool." The night is you're just chilling with them, you're talking, and within the space of an hour, at least 5 or 6 references to my thing was made. 5 or 6 sort of the size was made references. I'm like, and you're thinking like, and these are things which they're trying to laugh off as banter, but I'm like, why is this even a topic? Every time we talk about, we may talk about girls, we may talk about something else. Somehow, that's a reference that's being made, and I can see certain insecurities there, things which there was no reason for that to be the case. Why? Because we don't like the same type of girls. We ain't going and do you know what I'm saying? We ain't moving in the same circle. You're just people that I happen to live with. But these are the type of things which will be made, because for a lot of them, this is what they've heard. This is maybe what they're afraid of in that sense. Things that really and truly in life don't matter. They don't doesn't mean a damn thing. And I think a lot of guys have let that go to their head. That power dynamic that they think they have over, they've let that go to their head, and it's allowed, from that reason they've accepted a lot of things which maybe for black women would be very traumatizing in that sense, and would take a different approach to that type of messages, those type of messages being said about them, or I guess people chasing them for those type of things would be very traumatizing. Whereas people, black men have upheld it as a badge of honor. But yeah, that's all I'll say on that.
Sam, you were gonna say?
Yeah, it's just while Life of God was talking, I was just thinking about, like, obviously when I date based on God. Whoever God brings me, that's the person for me. However, I said to myself, if God brings me a white woman, which is absolutely fine, there's no qualms about it. I just thought to myself, it's gonna be long. It will be long because what you're thinking about is that it's just like, first of all, you need to know that she understands the situation that black people are in, because you're gonna go into a black family as well. Somebody, people that already know the situation and are very aware of where we are in society. You get what I'm saying? So you need to understand that. But not only that, she can also understand it, and she's very invested in it and whatnot, or ally, whatnot, or whatever. But then, what about her family? Am I going to be accepted with the family dynamic and stuff like that, and a friend dynamic? And I was just thinking about all of it, and I just said, this is long. Black women, I'm staying with you lot. I can't lie to you, because it's like, sometimes when I think about it, it's just like you. I was watching, what's it called? The guy that says you're not the father, or you are the father. What's his name? Maury. I think his name. Yeah, Maury. Yeah. A lot of the couples that come on there are black women and black men, but there's some that are black men and black white women, and I just find it so funny. Like, some black men, some black men don't like peace, and I just don't understand it. Like, how would I put it? The same stereotype that you give black women, how they are aggressive, they're feisty, they're this, they're that. These white women that you are dating are doing the same thing, but you're just allowing it to happen.
Come on, preacher.
Like, I'm just watching the show, they're screaming and shouting at them, they're looking all stressed, and I'm thinking, you allow this? You're the one that allowed this. I can't feel sorry for you at all. What are you doing? And yet, they will bash black women for doing, them thinking them doing the same thing. And it's just like, this is just backwards thinking. And more time when I think about this, and then I understand a lot of what black women are saying, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. You can call it self-hate, you can call it this, you can call it that. For me, it's just backwards thinking. Simply, it's backwards thinking. And more when I think about it, I question this and I question that, and I'm questioning this thinking doesn't make sense. That thinking doesn't make sense. What do you actually want? what do you actually want? And even when you ask black men what they actually want, some of them don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
And that all comes from from self, yourself. Like what you want for yourself. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking while Life of Budge was talking.
Good point, Sam. Hey
Yeah,
Esther,
just
welcome to the conversation. I know you were saying you wanted to add to the conversation we're talking about.
yeah. I just want to say quickly before I go to bed because I have work in the morning. Just to jump off of, I guess, was it Sam just now talking about, I guess, black men don't want peace,
Mm-hmm.
and just to speak from my personal experience that when in two separate occasions when I've worked in places with black men who are in higher positions than me, either my managers or the RGMs who have been married to white women, I find that regardless of the fact that they are married to white women, they still make it their mission to, I think, almost assert their dominance over me more than they would everyone else.
Mm.
What I mean by that is like in one instance, the manager he shouted at me to the point of actually making me cry because he said that I wasn't friendly enough to him in comparison to everyone else, which doesn't make sense because you have a whole white wife at home. So what is it? What's it got to do with me? And for me, I'm not a person that's disrespectful to anyone. I'm very observant when it comes to new people. So, I'm just not going to be like hugging you. And even now in my workplace right now, I don't know. I think it doesn't make sense to me because, so let's say that, the black women are right. And what they're talking about how white women are submissive, white women are the perfect match, white women are X, Y, Z, then why are you still looking over here, over the fence, and feeling like you are entitled to controlling the things that I say, how my hair is, how I dress, how I speak, when you have moved on and you are over the fence and you are so happy and you are essentially in your utopia. And I think I don't know, for the, the internet stuff where black men, bash black women, I feel like to me, that almost doesn't touch me because I don't care about those men and they will never have a significant role in my life. Whereas the people that I'm with at work, even currently my current job right now, it's very, I guess, it's very almost annoying how much the black men who are married to white women still feel like they are allowed to have some type of say with how I think, how I move, and how I feel as a black woman. And that's just what I have to say.
Appreciate it, Esther. Appreciate it. Thank you for that contribution, Esther. Appreciate it, man.
Bye-bye.
Good vibes. I don't know if anyone else wants to comment on that particular aspect of what she described. Life of Bodge.
I mean, it's hard to. I think I haven't experienced that. I'll be real with you. I think, and I think maybe in which I think I look at situations where I've had, I guess maybe no. Actually, I've never had a black superior who was married to the to white women or anything like that. In terms of black men, they've always been people I could relate to, and people that probably either have a similar family dynamic to what I grew up in. I think that's been my experience. I can't lie to you. So it's hard to. All I can say is, I guess, what we saw, what she's experiencing, what she experienced is a man who's clearly projecting, and who probably holds, I guess, what you say, black women to a different standard to what he would go for. Maybe, he holds black women to a standard. He found black women didn't meet the standard he held them to, hence, and then he went out and looked elsewhere. But is he happy? Yeah, he could be happy in his individual situation, but it doesn't mean he didn't want to be maybe in some way with a black woman that fit what was his standard in that sense. And what he's then going to go on to do is hold every single black woman he ever meets to a certain standard just to prove himself right. That decision he made, was right, I guess. And it may not even be a conscious act, but in his head, he's saying, "Yo, look, she doesn't meet the standards, or she's not what I think they should be, and therefore, you know, I see them in a certain way." I think that could be the dynamic, but that's just me trying to throw something out there. Maybe someone else who maybe understands that dynamic a bit more, better off talking about that.
Lala, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, that was really hard to hear. Actually, to be fair, you know. That's quite horrible. I work in social care, so I work with a whole load of women. To be fair. So, but the thing that kind of came to mind was when, you know, if you're trying to fit in with a group, and then someone comes in that could remind the group that you're black as well. Maybe he's forgotten, and you know, like what Bod said about projecting his own insecurities, or projecting maybe the fact that he doesn't even feel like he properly fits in. So a black woman entering into that space now is just another reminder that you are other, even with your white wife. So then finding ways to pick at her, and do you know what I mean, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's more like, it was definitely nothing to do with Esther, more about his own stuff. To be fair, that was definitely all his own stuff, because like, why would you feel that someone has to kind of shuck and jive to make you feel comfortable? That's weird. You know, that's really weird. But yeah.
Hear that, Sam?
No, I just think that it's the power dynamics for me. It's just that you just wanting to have control over something that you, how would I put it? There's a lot of black men that think like that. It's the power dynamic. Like you see a black woman, they think they black women will tend. How would I put it? Like they will just. The English is not coming out of my mouth. Give me 1 second. It's just like black women will. They think that black women will come to them, and then them just having that like kind of control over them, thinking they'd have the control over them, they get excited of it, because at least they have a little pawn where they're thinking white people are the ones that are like having the power over them, but they're having their little power of patriarchy. It's just they just get excited by it, and all I just heard was that he just wants to have control. He just wants to control. And it's when I just look at it, it's just like, why do you? I guess I know why, but it's just like, what's so good up there that you want to reach? Like, what is really so good up there? Like, they're only just going to see you as another black person, really and truly. That's it. Nothing about your character. They just see your skin color. And unfortunately, that's what it's about. Even in my workplace, and where I was working before, you see some black men that will just be hanging out with the white people, and there's black women, and there's other black men there as well. But it's just like, it's Koji, you know, when I was talking about, I just don't get it. It's like, even I'm just struggling. I'm just thinking about, like, it don't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, maybe I'm not the person really to speak about this, but for me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, what's so good about trying to control someone because they're the same scale of color as you? What are you trying to reach? Like, I just don't get it.
Well, I mean, I think it's a very difficult situation, obviously, in terms of what she described, and it may be an intersectional issue. So it might not just be that she's black; it could be that she's a black woman. You know what I mean? That's intersectionality, because that's now not just about her being a woman, but it's about her race too. And so when some people get, and you know what, some people get into a position of power, and it goes to their head, bruv. You know what I mean? And some men, when they get into power in general, want others to feel like they're inferior to them, and they want them to feel like they have to submit to them. Do you know what I'm saying? And maybe he feels like his white woman submits to him, and maybe he may have the wrong idea in his head that black women don't, and so he has to prove that and quash Esther in that regard. Do you know what I'm saying? And so, like, yeah, I think it's one of those ones where I think intersectionality plays a big part in this, where it's not going to be one issue alone. I think it's going to be a multiple multiple layered issue from the gentleman who's in the position of power here. You know, male entitlement. You know, talking about obviously, you know, the woman being black, etc., etc. So they're different parts of it. Is, you know what I'm saying? And do you know what, this does happen in the workplace with human beings, unfortunately. And I wouldn't even just limit it to just black people, but yeah, since we're talking about black people, that is, I would think, an intersectionality problem, you know, going forward in that respect. So yeah. But let me get everyone's last words before we finish the conversation. Do you know what I'm saying? I actually meant to only do an hour, but the conversation was juicy. You understand? But let me get everybody's like last kind of contributions, and then we'll wrap this up, man. So, Life of Bodge, hit us first, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think let's go back to, I guess, Love Island when we started, did it? I think you know, obviously, I think I understand your perspective, Coach, and I think it's very important for us to speak up. But I think speaking up, they've heard us. I genuinely believe they've heard us. They just don't care. I think the numbers are what they care about, and the numbers say that their white audience votes for white couples and sometimes interracial couples, whereas black people, they don't really care too tough about them. So you're not a priority. All I can say is actually get engaged with the voting for when a black couple does pop up. Maybe they may offer black people. Maybe we may get a better sense of representation. It would take a lot, because I think from a percentage wise of what we make up as an audience, you know, it's going to be very hard. I'm sure, you know, I haven't got the stats, but I'm sure if I looked at the stats, it would show that, you know, our demographic, and it's not, I think sometimes we operate in a microcosm. Spaces like this, and then obviously Black Twitter, don't reflect, I guess, the viewership, or, you know what I mean? So I think those are things to factor. We can, but I think these are conversations for us to have, but I don't necessarily know how that affects the producers. I think the numbers have to. That's what they can care about. It's like voting. It works exactly the same way in terms of like your political views, in terms of parties and voting, works the exact same way. And then as for the wider topic that we obviously discussed, I think we have a very long way to go. You know, I think clearly a lot of the emphasis is on us as black men to, I guess, change the narrative, and push the conversation, rather than, I guess, the other way around. I think there's been a lot been done, there's a lot that's been said, and yeah, some people are tired. So it's for us to push the conversation, gain a bit more understanding on our side, before we can really see any sort of change in that. You know, let's be real, we know how it goes. Black men are gonna more likely to listen to each other than to black women. So, you know, that's how I see it. I think, you know, we have to push the conversation, and it's not really our job to change people's views, but it's our job to, I guess, change the narrative. But yeah, that's from me.
Hearing you, bro. Hearing you. 100% appreciate it, bro. Lala, what's your final thoughts?
I was laughing when Bodge started talking about Love Island. I was like, oh yeah, that's how we started.
We'll get back to you know.
You know, but you were right. Do you know what? They're of the mindset, if it don't make money, it don't make sense, right? So if we follow the money, they're gonna go with what their viewership says, what's gonna bring in the most coin, you know. And if that's catering, obviously that's catering to the white viewership, they're gonna do that. But I still think it's important to make noise personally as well, actually, and to, you know, tag them and write in and all of that good stuff that we don't like doing. I think it's important to do that. In regards to the other parts of the conversation, I was thinking that I have listened to, like, you know, Kevin Samuels, Cynthia G, the Fresh and Fit guys or whatever. Yeah. And I think it's important for like conversations like this to happen, where men and women can talk with each other, to each other, trying to understand rather than trying to win and trying to insult and get at each other. some of the stuff they say is kind of wild and kind of fun. It can be entertaining. It's not, you know, like my go-to, but I just had to know wild one in it. But I do think that it's important to have separate conversation where people can actually just talk to each other and talk about actually, you know, fling ideas like what can we do together, you know, and how can we understand each other? Because really and truly, when I listen to those YouTubers, all I hear is pain. To be fair, all I hear is pain. All I hear is the generational trauma, and then we're just blaming those that are closest to us. That's basically what it is. Both of us are doing it. But if we kind of talk and seek to understand, you know, those conversations will go a long way in starting to heal. And we won't heal in our lifetime, but heal for our children. Do you know what I mean? That's how I think about things like this, to be fair, because it took how many years for us to get here? It's going to take a whole load for us to get to a place of, you know, healing and restoration. But, you know, by God's grace, it will happen, you know. So, yeah, so thank you for having me on.
Big bars there. Big bars. Samuel G.
Yeah, with the whole Love Island thing, as I said in the beginning, what do you expect? This is what you're gonna get. It's run by a show that is mainly watched by white people, as I saw on Twitter. I thought Black Twitter was big, and then I saw Fiat 500 Twitter, and it was like, yep, it's a bit mad. It's run by ITV, which is basically the owners are white. So they're only just gonna cater to what the majority is gonna say. So really and truly, I can't really look at it, to be honest. What I have to look at is obviously the general conversation is black men need to look into ourselves, and as Lala said, we need to have these conversations in general in our own small groups. Even with me, I've been having these conversations on Clubhouse with other guys, and you see and hear the different opinions that they have, and it's just like, as Life of Budge said, it's like, oh my gosh, we got a long way to go. We've got a long way to go. Literally, like, yeah, just even thinking about it, it's mad. But yeah, we just need to look in ourselves. Like, I even saw one comment that says, we don't have to marry black women to protect black women. And I find that very true, because it's all to do with the respect of black women. A lot, the black men that we're talking about, they don't respect black women. They don't value them, and we need to get back to when we respect and value them. See what they do for us, and how we can elevate them as well. But it all comes to conversations in between our small circles, in between our friendship groups and stuff like that. Even characteristics that we might even have that we picked up that we haven't realized. We need to call it out. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my last words.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Listen, it started off with Love Island. It ended here. And that's how it gets, you know. Sometimes you have to have these real conversations, you know, and, you know, we ended on talking about, yes, you know, our community, and talked about how we can protect one another. And I think Lala, Life of Budge, Sam, you've talked greatly today as well. And I think these conversations are so important, having men and women being able to have a safe space where we can talk without disrespecting one another. You know, we may not always agree, right? But we can definitely do that respectfully. And again, that speaks about that visibility once more. Have we got spaces where we can have a genuine dialogue, and it's not me getting down your throat and, you know, ostracizing or marginalizing or stereotyping both men and women doing the same thing to each other? Or can we have a really open dialogue where we're talking and saying, hey, look, you know what, like, this is what we're seeing, and let's dialogue on these issues. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we've just done it for the last 2 hours where we've spoken about a topic, and not one of us have had to cuss the other person, cut the other person off and say, yeah, you know what, that. We've just had great points to bring to the table. And I think it's important that people can see that we can have those discussions. You know, I know there's a section of people that want to be able to tell women what to do and women to tell men what to do, but we want to be able to come to a place where we can have some really effective dialogue as well. So, guys, we're going to be here tomorrow. We'll be here after Love Island hits off again. Hopefully, we don't have a repeat of Yewande and Danny and Arabolo situation all over again. We don't mention her name appropriately now because she's a part of the madness. Danny and Arabello.
Arabica, whatever her name is.
Arabica, abracadabra. Okay, cool. That's only a bit of fun, guys. Only a bit of fun. But yeah, we'll be here tomorrow after 10 p.m. We'll start again, and hopefully we'll be able to discuss more of the show. Hopefully we'll give us some more content to discuss. Guys, do me a favor: like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. I appreciate you. Stay locked and stay loaded.